Now, a big setback is coming in for the Congress party, which has been claiming that these charges are false and baseless. Now, the Delhi High Court has given, the Delhi Court, Rouse Avenue Court, I beg your pardon, has given the clearance, and now charges will be filed against Congress leader Jagdish Titler in the 1984 anti-Sikh riots case. Now, the court has ordered that charges can be framed against Congress leader Jagdish Titler. In this case, the CBI has been claiming that he was the one who incited the mob, which resulted in the death of 3 people in those riots. Then the BJP has been time and again claiming that it was the patronage of the Congress party that has till now given a free hand to Jagdish Titler and did not even once question his link to the riots. However, the court has now given a green signal for the probing agency, and the Delhi Rouse Avenue Court has directed to frame charges against Congress leader Jagdish Titler in a 1984 anti-Sikh riot case that resulted in the death of 3 persons. Remember, the CBI had said that it was a white ambassador car in front of the Gurudwara from which Jagdish Titler walked out and told the mob to kill the Sikhs as they have killed their mother. My colleague Shreya Ghosh is also joining me for more on this. Shreya, what happened inside the courtroom? Take us through the latest.
Right. So today we saw Special CBI Judge Rakesh at Rouse Avenue Court stating that the court has ample evidence to proceed with charges against Congress leader Jagdish Titler in the 1984 anti-Sikh riots case. And the charges, formal framing of charges will take place on September 13th. Remember, it will be a crucial announcement on September 13th. Titler is required to appear in person to plead guilty of or not guilty. Now, we also know that Titler faces charges under IPC section 302. Today, in fact, Mr. Rakesh, special CBI judge, he also mentioned, reiterated that the charges are 302 of murder, 143 of unlawful assembly, 147 of rioting, 153 provocation with intent to cause riot, and of course, we also know 149 of common object and 109 of abatement of murder. So these are the different charges that Titler is faced with, and the formal framing of charges will take place on September 13th. Over to you.
Right. Thank you so much, Shreya, for joining us and sharing those latest updates. So big setback coming in for Congress leader Jagdish Titler there. Delhi Rouse Avenue Court has now directed to frame charges against leader. And with that, we're slipping into a very short break.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
This week on India Ascends.
Pole-bound Sri Lanka and volatile Bangladesh witnessing India versus China power play. Will the trouble in Balochistan topple the cozy China-Pakistan relationship? Is the pro-China Muizzu government in Maldives in trouble? The French flip-flop over the next Prime Minister continues.
All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gauri Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative Come, donate, let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. 10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day.
People's disabilities do not define what they can or cannot do, and our Samarth hero Shekhar Naik proves this right. As part of the Samarth by Hyundai initiative in partnership with NDTV, this is the inspiring story of Shekhar Naik, the first blind cricketer who was awarded the Padma Vibhushan.
My mother used to always motivate me that you should not think you are a blind person or you are not able to do anything. My mother joined me in a blind school, so there I started my cricketing game over there.
Heading to the pitch next is Shekhar Naik from India.
After that 2012 we had a first ever T20 World Cup, and there are 9 countries have taken part. Final match India versus Pakistan. We won the final match of the World Cup against Pakistan by 28 runs. In 2019 I started my own cricket academy, that is Shekhar Naik Foundation. From that time, every year I used to train 100 visually impaired cricketers. मैं समर्थ हूँ और दूसरों को समर्थ बना रहा हूँ.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
This week on India Ascends.
Pole-bound Sri Lanka and volatile Bangladesh witnessing India versus China power play. Will the trouble in Balochistan topple the cozy China-Pakistan relationship? Is the pro-China Muizzu government in Maldives in trouble? The French flip-flop over the next Prime Minister continues.
All this and more only on India Ascends with me, K Kavitha, at these timings on the NDTV network.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
This week on India Ascends.
Pole-bound Sri Lanka and volatile Bangladesh witnessing India versus China power play. Will the trouble in Balochistan topple the cozy China-Pakistan relationship? Is the pro-China Muizzu government in Maldives in trouble? The French flip-flop over the next Prime Minister continues.
All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gauri Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Usama Shab. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has apologized to the people of Maharashtra after Shivaji's statue collapsed. What are the reactions amid the entire political war of words that has ensured? Well, we'll get all of that. But first, let's take a look at the headlines. Big apology from the Prime Minister in Maharashtra over the Shivaji statue collapse ahead of the crucial assembly elections. Prime Minister Modi, in fact, taunts the opposition over insults to Savarkar. Trouble mounts for Congress leader Jagdish Titler. The court has ordered to frame charges against the Congress leader. And in Kolkata, there is no end to the protest over the rape and murder horror case of the 31-year-old trainee doctor. The Kolkata police has blocked BJP's march to the State Women's Commission. The police, they enter the metro station to evict protesters. The Kerala government is in a huddle amid the entire Me Too storm. The CPI executive body calls for its MLA Mukesh's resignation. Congress women workers, they also protest against the Kerala government. An ex-Himachal chief minister accuses the Himachal government of spying. Jairam Thakur says that drones were flying above his house. Himachal Pradesh chief minister, in the meanwhile, refutes all these charges and calls it BJP's diversionary tactic. Well, the politics is brewing in Maharashtra, especially after the collapse of Shivaji's statue, and it is slowly becoming the flashpoint ahead of the assembly polls. Now, Prime Minister, who was there addressing a rally, he said that he first apologized to Shivaji and then targeted the opposition, especially the Maharashtra government. In fact, taunted the opposition and said that Savarkar was insulted, but there was no apology for that as well. He said that he apologizes to the people who were hurt, and in fact, he also said that some people never apologize for insulting Savarkar, and he targeted the opposition in Maharashtra and called it blatant corruption. And structural consultant, remember, has been named in this FIR. Chetan Patil, who is the structural consultant, he was named in connection with the collapse of that statue in Sindhugarh, and he was taken into custody late on Thursday night. According to the police, he is a resident of Kolhapur. He had claimed on Wednesday that he was not the structural consultant for this particular project. Now, the Prime Minister, he in fact had inaugurated this statue at Rajkot Fort in Malwan, Tehsil of Sindhugarh, on the Navy Day on December 4th last year, which collapsed around 1 p.m. on Monday. And in fact,
मेरे सभी साथियों के लिए छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ये सिर्फ नाम नहीं है। हमारे लिए छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ये सिर्फ राजा महाराजा राजपुरुष मात्र नहीं है। हमारे लिए छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज आराध्य देव है। और मैं आज सर झुका करके मेरे आराध्य देव छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की उनके चरणों में मस्तक रख के माफी मांगता हूं। हमारे संस्कार अलग है। हम वो लोग नहीं हैं जो आए दिन भारत मां के महान सपूत इसी धरती के लाल वीर सावरकर को अनाप शनाप गालियां देते रहते हैं, अपमानित करते रहते हैं, देशभक्तों की भावनाओं को कुचलते हैं। उसके बावजूद भी वीर सावरकर को गालियां देने के बावजूद भी माफी मांगने को जो तैयार नहीं है, अदालतों में जाकर के लड़ाई लड़ने को तैयार है, इतने बड़े महान सपूत का अपमान करके जिनको पश्चाताप नहीं होता है, महाराष्ट्र की जनता उनके संस्कार को अब जान ले। और ये हमारे संस्कार है कि इस धरती पर आते ही आज मैंने पहला काम मेरे आराध्य देव छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज में उनके चरणों में सर झुका करके क्षमा मांगने का कर रहा हूं।
And my colleague Radhikaramaswami joins us to get us more on this story. Radhika, the Prime Minister, he has issued an apology. But at the same time, does it look like as if the entire controversy, it is going to die down sooner? Because the opposition, they're gearing up to make sure that this is an election issue.
That's right, a big statement coming from Prime Minister Modi, profuse apology from his side. Of course, this amid the political slugfest that we are seeing over Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj statue collapse in Sindhudur. Prime Minister Modi, they're saying that he's an ardent devotee of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. In fact, Shivaji is not just a name, but his idol. So therefore, he bows down before his idol and seeks his apology. This is the statement that he made, a big statement. In fact, in Maharashtra itself, he was on a one-day visit to Maharashtra, which is when he made this statement just about half an hour back. So yes, a big reaction coming in. We know that it's election year in Maharashtra, and this entire issue, this collapse, this crash of this particular statue has become a politically serious as well as emotive issue, especially for the opposition. They are leaving no stone unturned in attacking the government over this. They have been saying that it is due to alleged negligence and corruption on the part of state government, which led to the collapse of a revered warrior's statue. Uddhav Thackeray hitting, Aditya Thackeray hitting, many within the Congress party, within the NCP, hitting at the state government over this. State government, of course, in a damage control mode, taking multiple measures, saying they're forming committees, one to probe the incident, another to look into re-erection of a bigger statue on the same spot, making arrest. A structural consultant has been arrested today, and of course they're on the lookout for the contractor who was responsible for the design and building of this particular statue. State government has washed its hands off as far as taking the blame and responsibility is concerned. Eknath Shinde had also apologized, but they continue to maintain that the construction was the responsibility of the Indian Navy, which is why multiple committees have been formed. Navy is also looking into the matter and probing the entire collapse incident. But the fact remains that this has become a very, very sensitive issue in Maharashtra, with the opposition leaving no stone unturned in ensuring that they attack the state government at every given opportunity. And this is what we've been seeing over the last few days. We'll have to wait and see how this will perhaps impact the elections in the days to come. This is the election year in Maharashtra, and this is certainly going to be an important election issue that will be taken up by the opposition at this point. Prime Minister Modi there seeking apologies from Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and from the people of Maharashtra.
All right, Radhikaramaswami, thank you very much for getting us all the latest and in fact putting everything in perspective for the viewers as well. In fact, I'm also joined by Clyde Crasto, spokesperson of the NCP, Sharad Pawar, and Shazia Ilmi, the spokesperson of BJP. Shazia Ilmi, let me come to you first. The Prime Minister has apologized. The Chief Minister has apologized. Even the Deputy Chief Minister, he apologized. We have been talking to the opposition. And all of them, they accuse you, as in the government, that look, all this is happening because the elections are around the corner and all of this is just damage control. Your reaction to that, ma'am?
You know, Prime Minister has said very categorically that he not just apologizes, but he bows his head and he apologizes to all of those who have been hurt by this. And he has said very clearly that Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj was just not a king, but a revered figure. And it's a matter of great shame that something like this has happened. The structural consultant, Chetan Patil, has been arrested, as we know, and this is indeed unfortunate. And Prime Minister has expressed his apology, his regret, unambiguously. He has also said that that this is a very sensitive matter for all of us, and I bow my head in apology. So this is the strongest form of apology and regret expressed by a Prime Minister who said this is a sanskar to apologize for a huge mistake that has happened, for which the project in charge and the consultant has also been arrested. So I think this is what it is, and it should not be used because it is a mistake, negligence, criminal inaction or whatever you want to call it, but it should not be used for elections and to target BJP. This is clearly a huge mistake for which everybody in the BJP, all our partners also, our coalition partners, are also deeply apologetic, and they are sorry about it, and they've expressed it in very clear words.
All right. Let's also try and get a reaction from Clyde Crasto, the NCP Sharad Pawar spokesperson. So the Prime Minister has apologized. Does it bury the controversy now? We know a case is also going on. What else is left that you want to raise?
How can the controversy be buried? I mean, was it done because they wanted to bury the controversy? Was this apology given because they wanted to do so? The fact remains that a 24-year-old, inexperienced builder of statues was given this contract. He's also reportedly close to the leader from the Shinde group. So the question here is that when there is a question of corruption, why is this being brushed aside? Just by mere apology, it's not going to work, I hope. And I wish the Prime Minister also said that, a detailed inquiry should be done into this whole thing. If there is corruption, who awarded the contract? Why was it awarded to an inexperienced person? All these questions should have also been raised. The Prime Minister should have said that let's do an inquiry on this. Let's constitute an SIT probably and get all these things out in the open. But, just an apology and trying to say that, I'm sorry about what has happened, it cannot bury the whole thing. And like you said, to bury the whole thing, was it done purposely? That's the question.
All right. Shazia Ilmi, would you like to react on what Mr. Crasto has said, especially the fact that...
Yes, I would like to react. Yes, not only has the person been arrested, but the inquiry has been set up. Do you think the matter will go away easily? And to make it about everything else, only because it's the elections, just goes on to say and show that they're using it only for politics. I mean, there is an express apology because of the harm done, because of how we see Shivaji Maharajji. And nobody is running away from any responsibility. All those who are responsible for awarding of this contract to somebody, let's find out more, would not be spared. So I don't know why this is now being extended and stretched on and dragged on only because they want to do politics on something which is so unfortunate. I don't think there is any scope for politics anymore after the Prime Minister has said very clearly that he bows in head in apology. And not just that, the person in charge has been arrested. And there is actually...
So when will the Prime Minister say sorry for Manipur then? Say sorry for Manipur also.
All right.
Now, the very fact that this person has gone off the, off the rack and is going and talking about everything just goes on to show that he is indulging in politics.
No, you are indulging in politics. You are known to indulge in politics. You created politics out of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. You are not talking about the right issues.
Mr. Clyde Crasto and Shazia Ilmi, I really have to apologize for the lack of time that we have on the show right now. And it is a big flashpoint, especially ahead of the Maharashtra Assembly elections that are going to happen in a couple months from now. Prime Minister Modi has come out and apologized to not just Shivaji Maharaj, but also to the people of Maharashtra. Will it going to settle? Is this controversy going to settle itself now, or is it just the beginning of something else? We'll have to wait and watch. Thank you very much for joining us and getting us your reactions on that. Moving on to our other big story that we are tracking, Jagdish Titler, the Congress leader, he is in big trouble, especially in the 1984 anti-Sikh riots is coming back to haunt the Congress leader. The court has ordered to frame charges. These charges are to be framed in the 1984 anti-Sikh riots case. The CBI's case is linked to Pulbangash riots. The CBI, in fact, has accused Jagdish Titler of inciting violence. The CBI has invoked the charges of rioting, murder, and murder against Jagdish Titler. So the Delhi court has directed to frame charges against Jagdish Titler in the 1984 anti-Sikh riots case. This case was, remember, registered by the CBI in the Pulbangash Sikh killing case. In fact, my colleague Shreya joins us live to get us more on this. Shreya, what more details can you give us from what we understand at this point? The CBI has the charges, the court has said that charges are to be framed in this particular case. What are the details?
Right, so we know that today the special CBI Judge Rakesh at Rouse Avenue Court has stated that there is ample evidence to frame charges against Congress leader Jagdish Titler, and we know that it has been an excruciatingly long-running legal battle, and the formal charges against him with his connection in the death of 3 Sikh individuals during the anti-Sikh riot in 1984, the formal charges will be framed on September 13th, and Mr. Jagdish Titler will have to appear at the court, and he will have to plead guilty or not. And we also know that earlier the CBI had filed a charge sheet based on the testimony of the 3 eyewitnesses. They claimed that Jagdish Titler had incited the mob at the Pulbangash Gurudwara with his inflammatory remarks. He had provoked the mob outside the Gurudwara, which consequently led to the killings of 3 individuals as well as other tragic consequences. So I am joined by some of the people who were affected by the Pulbangash tragedy. Madam, आप मुझे ये बताइए, अभी September 13th को फाइनल वर्डिक्ट देने वाले हैं, आपका क्या एक्सपेक्टेशंस है? इतने साल हो गए, 40 साल, तो अभी आपको क्या लगता है?
40 साल से ज़्यादा ही समय बीत गया, लेकिन हमने उम्मीद नहीं छोड़ी थी। आज हमारी उम्मीद की एक किरण जागी है। जो जगदीश टाइटल को ये चार्जशीट पेश कर दी है जज साहब ने, उन पे धाराएं भी लगी हैं। 13 सितंबर को उम्मीद है कि इसके ऊपर जो केस चलेगा, जिस तरह से ये सज्जन कुमार जेल के सलाखों के पीछे, उसी तरह ये भी बड़ा मगरमच्छ 1984 का हमारा दोषी है जो सिख कत्लेआम करवाया इस जगदीश टाइटलर ने, ये भी बहुत जल्द सलाखों के पीछे होगा। यही हमें उम्मीद है सरकार से भी।
So we know that Titler is facing some serious charges, and let me tell you the charges under IPC sections 302 of murder. He's facing these charges of murder, of rioting, of unlawful assembly and provocation with intent to cause riot. So the charges of murder and of rioting are the main charges against him. And of course earlier we saw the judge Rakesh Sial, special CBI judge, stating that there is enough evidence to process these charges against him, and he said that there were no more observations left to be made. Last time, earlier this month, we saw CBI filing the, not CBI, the judge said that after speaking to both the parties, the fact that, the case is legit against him, and we know that this case has been going on for the last 40 years, and the case traces back to the time in 1984 when Indira Gandhi was assassinated by one of his by her Sikh bodyguards, and after that it led to the massive riots in Delhi, and it was then this Congress leader, Mr. Jagdish Titler, who was allegedly involved in this and made inflammatory remarks and provoked the mob outside Pulbangash, and which led to tragic consequences, including the killings of 3 people. So now it is important to question that will justice be served, or
this particular case. And the CBI has accused Jagdish Titler of inciting violence, and this is going to be heard later in the month today. Shreya, thank you very much for getting us all the latest. In fact, moving on to our other story that we are tracking, the Shiromani Akali Dal. Delhi has sent a legal notice to the Central Board of Film Certification. This is concerning Kangana Ranaut's upcoming movie, Emergency. The party has sought to prevent the film's release, citing concerns over its portrayal of historical events and figures, particularly those related to the Sikh community. Now, the notice, it addresses top officials of the CBSE requesting an immediate revocation of the certification that has been granted to the film, thereby blocking its release. This notice has been sent by the president of the Delhi unit of Shiromani Akali Dal, Paramjit Singh Sanna, who claims that the recent released trailer of Emergency, it depicts historical facts inaccurately. In fact, according to the notice, these depictions, they misrepresent the Sikh community and promote hatred and social discord. In fact, Mr. Sarna, he argues that such portrayals are misleading, offensive, and damaging to the social fabric of Punjab and the nation as a whole. And it is the police versus the BJP protesters in Kolkata. The police have in fact entered the metro station to evict protesters, and what you can see on your screen is the BJP workers. They're protesting. They're amid heavy police security. The police, like I mentioned, the BJP has marched to the Women's Commission. They were blocked. The opposition party, it has been accusing the commission of partisanship since the discovery of the victim's body on August 9. So there is no end to the protest over the rape and murder horror case. And Tanima joins us on the phone line to get us more details on that. Tanima, like I mentioned, there is no end to these protests, especially after what has been happening over the last couple of days. And this time around, it is again the police versus the BJP protesters. The BJP has marched to the Women's Commission, from what we understand. What are the details?
Right. In fact, if you can see the shots on the screen, Osama, it shows clearly that, literally rather, that this is like a face-off between the Kolkata police and the BJP women's delegation. It's mostly the women workers, led by some of their prominent leaders like Loket Chatterjee, who have gone towards the Kolkata Women's Commission, but they have been halted on their tracks. They have been stopped from reaching up to the Bengal Women's Commission office, and they are in fact raising slogans and protesting on the streets there in Kolkata. Remember, Osama, the BJP had already announced that they are going to hold daily protests for at least a week on this issue, though their issue directly doesn't rest on justice for the victim. That is one of the aspects, but they've also been alleging that the Kolkata police and the Bengal government have been trying to crack down on protesters with an iron hand, that there are instances of police excesses being made on those who are protesting in Kolkata. They are, of course, referring to what happened during the Nabanna Abhijan rally, when the Kolkata police used water cannon and tear gas to disperse the crowd there. So the BJP since then has, of course, been holding daily dharnas, daily protests, this one being led by their women workers, women cadre, as I mentioned, and the Kolkata police and the Bengal government, on the other hand, of course, stopping them on their tracks, trying to, in a way, trying to quell the protest or stop the protests on the street protests which have been launched by the BJP ever since then. As I said, there are multiple aspects in this particular case now, Osama, which has in a way branched out. On the one side, of course, there's the CBI investigation which is currently underway in order to find out whether or not more than one person was involved in this particular incident, in this particular horrific rape and murder case. There's also, of course, a lens on the hospital negligence, on how the authorities allegedly mishandled the case. And there's also the doctors who have been protesting, who are probably one of the few states in which the doctors have not called off their protests yet, despite the appeal by the Supreme Court, because the Kolkata doctors, especially at RG Kor, have in fact been maintaining that they do not feel safe still. And this, of course, is the other political angle which has developed.
All right, Tanima Biswas, thank you very much for getting us all the latest. In fact, my colleague Mukesh Singh Sengar, he has been on the ground and covering these protests. Let's take a look at this report.
कोलकाता में मेडिकल छात्रा की हत्या और रेप के विरोध में लगातार विरोध प्रदर्शन जारी है और आज बीजेपी के महिला मोर्चा ने प्रोटेस्ट करने का आह्वान किया था। उसको देखते हुए आप देखें कि किस तरह से पुलिस जो प्रोटेस्टर्स हैं उनको ढूंढ रही है, खोज रही है। इस वक्त मैं हूँ करुणामयी मेट्रो स्टेशन के अंदर और यहाँ पर आप देखें कि पुलिस मेट्रो स्टेशन के अंदर तक घुस आई है और यहाँ पर जो भी महिला मोर्चा के प्रोटेस्टर या दूसरे जो लोग जो विरोध करने आए हैं उनको किस तरह से खोज कर पकड़ा जा रहा है। इस वक्त मैं हूं करुणामयी मेट्रो स्टेशन के अंदर और यहां पर जो कोलकाता पुलिस है वो तमाम जगहों से जो प्रोटेस्टर्स हैं उनको खोज कर पकड़ रही है। ये देखिए, उसको तुरंत पुलिस यहां पर डिटेन कर लेती है। बड़ी संख्या में जो महिला पुलिसकर्मी हैं वो यहां पर तैनात हैं और कहीं भी कोई मिलता है उसको तुरंत डिटेन किया जा रहा है। कुछ महिलाओं को यहाँ से मेट्रो स्टेशन से डिटेन किया गया है और यहाँ पर पुलिस ने सड़क पर और मेट्रो स्टेशन पर जो प्रोटेस्टर्स थे उनको खोजा है और खोज के उनको यहाँ पर डिटेन किया जा रहा है। ये देखिए कि कुछ महिलाओं को मेट्रो ट्रेन के अंदर से निकालकर डिटेन कर लिया गया है और उनको पुलिस अपने साथ में लेकर जा रही है। ये देखिए कि पूरा जो काफिला है कोलकाता पुलिस का वो यहाँ पर है और बीजेपी के कार्यकर्ता यही आरोप लगाते हैं कि उनको कहीं भी ममता सरकार प्रोटेस्ट करने की परमिशन नहीं देती है, इसीलिए उनको हाईकोर्ट जाना पड़ता है और हाईकोर्ट जाने के बाद जब उनको परमिशन मिलती है तब वो प्रोटेस्ट कर पाते हैं। ये देखिए कि कुछ महिलाओं को डिटेन कर लिया है और ये मेट्रो के बाहर ले जा रही है। कोलकाता से कैमरा पर्सन जीडी शंकर के साथ मैं मुकेश सिंह सेंगर, NDTV।
All right, in fact, politics has been brewing over this particular case. It is now Modi government versus Mamata government. The West Bengal Chief Minister, Mamata Banerjee, she has written a second letter to the Prime Minister expressing concerns over the lack of response to her earlier appeal for stronger legislation on crimes against women in the wake of this trainee doctor's rape and murder in Kolkata. In a latest letter, a copy of which she posted on her social media handle as well, Mamata Banerjee, she accused the central government of not taking her concerns seriously. She says, and I quote, "No reply was received from your end on such a sensitive issue," is what she wrote. Now, acknowledging the reply she received from the Minister of Women and Child Development, the Trinamool Congress Supremo, she said it barely attends the gravity of this issue raised in the letter.
इससे ज़्यादा शर्मनाक बयान एक मुख्यमंत्री को और नहीं हो सकता। एक मुख्यमंत्री जो अपना राज्य नहीं संभाल पा रही हैं। और देखिए, मैं कोई दोषारोपण नहीं करना चाहता। ये घटना इस तरीके की महिलाओं के साथ अगर किसी भी राज्य में होती है तो वो उतनी ही शर्मनाक है, उतनी ही चिंताजनक है। बल्कि मैं तो आग्रह करूंगा केंद्र सरकार से कि वहाँ की वास्तु स्थिति का संज्ञान लेते हुए राज्य में राष्ट्रपति शासन, बंगाल राज्य में राष्ट्रपति शासन।
All right, Aishwarya Jain joins us to get us more on this. Aishwarya, this is the second letter that Mamata Banerjee has written to the Prime Minister. There is obviously a political war of words that is going on between the central government and the Mamata Banerjee-led West Bengal government. How do you see this panning out in the future as of now?
Well, certainly the first letter that West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee had written to Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeking an stringent central legislation against the crime against the women, and in the second letter she today wrote that she hasn't got any reply from the first letter that was of grave importance, and now in the second letter as well she is demanding again that this demand of bringing the stringent legislation by central legislation against crime against women should be considered. And on the other side, in this particular letter, Mamata Banerjee also spoke about how the West Bengal government had taken several initiatives of establishing the fast-track courts and also dedicated tribunals for the crime that comes under the POCSO Act. Also, how the state had funded to these courts completely. It is on one side that West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee had been showcasing that how the government has been proactive enough, but there was no response from the Prime Minister, and she's been seeking attention directly from the Prime Minister. However, she has written that she had received the reply from the Ministry of Women and Child Development Ministry, but certainly it is Prime Minister's attention that she has sought. But yes, of course, as you rightly mentioned, there were political war of words that are going on between the central government as well as the West Bengal government. It is Chirag Paswan now coming out and asking for president's rule in the state of West Bengal because law and order situation had completely been failed according to him. On the other side, West Bengal governor meeting Home Minister Amit Shah now and asking for more security forces to be deployed, looking at the prevailing law and order situation, and also news coming in of the vandalism and rising crime against women also. So
Right.
certainly many developments on different ends happening, but politics again breaking out between the West Bengal government and the central government.
All right, Shuryajan, thank you very much for getting us all the latest in that story. Time now for a very short break. More news and updates on the other side.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
This week on India Ascends.
Poll-bound Sri Lanka and volatile Bangladesh witnessing India versus China power play. Will the trouble in Balochistan topple the cozy China-Pakistan relationship? Is the pro-China Muizzu government in Maldives in trouble? The French flip-flop over the next Prime Minister continues.
All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gauri Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
This week on India Ascends.
Welcome back. News now from Kerala, where the Me Too movement has engulfed the entire Malayalam film industry. In fact, the Mahila Congress, the workers there, they are protesting in Thiruvananthapuram. The Mahila Congress workers, they have been protesting over the alleged Me Too cases that have surfaced. And the police, in fact, the police used water cannons on the Mahila Congress workers who were protesting there, shouting slogans and asking for the resignation of the CPI MLA M. Mukesh, who also happens to be one of the actors who have been booked in this particular case. Now, the Mahila Congress, it has, like I mentioned, and as you can see on your screens, is holding a protest at the Secretariat. This after more Malayalam actors who were accused of sexual misconduct in the wake of the Justice Hema Committee report's release were booked by the Kerala police on Thursday. This also includes the CPI-M MLA M. Mukesh. Now, another case has been filed against actor Jayasuriya. This complaint has been, the complainant has alleged sexual assault by this actor. The woman actor had accused actors like Mukesh and Jayasuriya of sexual misconduct. Meanwhile, the CPI there, it has called for MLA Mukesh's resignation. Now, as per sources, CPI State Secretary Binoy Vishwam, he met the Chief Minister after decision of the CPI Executive Committee. He, in fact, explained to the Chief Minister the party's position. As far as the national leader, CPM's national leader, Brinda Karat, is concerned, she also expressed disappointment over the party state leadership's decision on the resignation of the rape case accused Mukesh as the MLA. So the Mahila Congress there, as you can see on your screens, holding protests, and the police, it had to retort to using water cannons on these Congress workers. And Ishika joins us to get us more on this. Ishika, what are the latest details that you can get us from the ground? You have been covering this since a couple of days. From what we understand, there has been protests, and especially by these Mahila workers of the Congress. And the police had, in fact, used water cannons on these workers.
Well, Osama, the agitation against the left government and also demanding the resignation of MLA Mukesh continues to grow on the streets of Kerala. Even today, Mahila Congress workers held protests demanding his resignation and demanding that the government in Kerala takes action on Mukesh. And we did see that very dramatic visuals, as we are in fact showing our viewers, came from that protest where in fact water cannons were used on these protesters. Now meanwhile, let me tell you that if we talk about the party itself, the CPIM, in fact the top body of the CPIM is in fact holding a meeting, in fact held a meeting. In that meeting certainly the matter of M. Mukesh did not come up. But the meeting, again, another part of the meeting is going to start from short while from now. We are expecting that at that time the discussion will be focused on the resignation of M. Mukesh. Remember that even if we talk about the voices in the government, they have been demanding MLA Mukesh resignation. If we talk about the CPI, which is a partner in the government, the state secretary there met the chief minister and conveyed it to him that it is important that Mukesh steps down from that position. So after that, what will be the chief minister's call, that remains to be seen. On the other hand, if we talk about the investigation so far, well, let me tell you that today yet another case of sexual assault has been registered against actor Jayasuriya. Meanwhile, the complainant, who in fact filed complaints against 7 of Mollywood heavyweights, including Edawala Babu and in fact, MLA Mukesh, her in fact statement is being recorded before the magistrate. So the investigation is also proceeding in this matter, but all the eyes remain as to what will be the Chief Minister's decision on MLA Mukesh. Over to you.
All right, Ishika Verma, thank you very much for getting us all the latest from the ground. So the latest is that these workers, Congress Mahila workers, they were protesting. They have been attacked. They have been dispersed by the use of water cannon by the police. There, the CPIM is meeting today again to discuss the future of its MLA Mukesh in this particular case. Time now for a very short break. More news and updates on the other side.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Welcome back. A political war of words has broken out over allegations of the use of drones in Himachal Pradesh. Now, these allegations of drone surveillance at the former Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Jairam Thakur, they are flying thick and fast as the BJP leader and Himachal Pradesh leader of opposition claims that when he was leaving for the assembly today, he saw a drone above his house attacking the Himachal government. He said that the Sukhu government is violating privacy. Phones are already being tapped and now drones are also being used for surveillance, is what the ex-chief minister has said. The chief minister should have answered on this, but he was silent, is what the former CM has added. However, the Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu, he has rejected all these charges, stating that if such things have happened, they will investigate this. However, the BJP leader Jairam Thakur, he is creating an issue out of this, and that they are left with no issues, is what the Chief Minister has said. So the drone wars in Himachal Pradesh, this is BJP versus Congress over drone surveillance.
जब मैं आ रहा था विधानसभा, उस वक्त भी वहां पर ड्रोन वहां पर हमारे घर के आंगन में घूम रहा था, और ये मैं समझता हूं कि बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। तमाशा बन गया सरकार का, समझ में नहीं आ रहा है। विपक्ष के नेता के घर की खिड़कियों से, दरवाजे से गाड़ियां खड़ी कहां हैं, कौन गाड़ियां खड़ी हैं, कौन आदमी आए, उनका भी ड्रोन से सर्वे, ड्रोन से ये कर रहे हैं। लेकिन विपक्ष के लोग हैं, उनके फोन सर्विलेंस पर, और उनके फोन सर्विलेंस के साथ साथ में उनके घर की चारों तरफ से हुआ जाकर के वहां पर ड्रोन से इस तरह से करना, ये निजता का भी हनन है, और मैं समझता हूं ये बहुत ओछी हरकत की है, और जिसको मुख्यमंत्री को जवाब देना चाहिए था, लेकिन मुख्यमंत्री जी चुपचाप बैठे थे।
ड्रोन उड़ाया जा रहा है, वो जो एसजे पैनल वाले एक मैपिंग जीआई मैपिंग सर्वे कर रहे हैं, वो सारे शिमला में उड़ रहा है। क्यों हम उनकी जासूसी करेंगे? वो पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री रहे हैं। फिर भी एक पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री ने बात उठाई, हमने उसमें बारे में कहा है कि अगर उनको ऐसा लगता है तो मैं उसकी जानकारी प्राप्त करूंगा, और जो इंक्वायरी हो सकेगी मैं पता करूंगा कि क्यों हो रहा है। लेकिन इस प्रकार सनसनी फैलाकर फिर वॉकआउट करना हर छोटी बात पर, ये अच्छा नहीं है।
And External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, he has delivered a firm message on India's stance towards Pakistan, declaring that the era of uninterrupted dialogue, it is over. Jaishankar said that actions, they have consequences. This is alluding to Pakistan's sponsored terrorism and reaffirming New Delhi's position that terror and talks, they cannot go together. He said, and I quote, "The era of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan is over. Actions have consequences." He was in fact speaking at a book launch event in Delhi on Friday.
Let me say this. I think the era of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan is over. Actions have consequences. And insofar as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, I think 370 is done. What I do want to say is we are not passive, and whether events take a positive or a negative direction, either way we will react.
And Mr. Karan Adani, the MD and CEO of Adani Ports and SEZs Limited, he spoke at the Rising Rajasthan event where he said that Rajasthan stands at a threshold of new growth era. In fact, added that Rajasthan government's proactive approach of creating industry-friendly environment is commendable.
Rajasthan, with its rich history, diverse culture and vast potential, stands at the threshold of a new era of prosperity. The Rajasthan government's proactive approach under the able leadership of Honorable CM in creating an investment-friendly environment is commendable. In Jaisalmer and Barmer, we have commissioned a 5 gigawatt solar park at an investment of 30,000 crores. Between our 3 cement plants in the states, we have already invested 15,000 crores. In total, so far, the Adani Group has invested in excess of 70,000 crores and have generated 37,000 jobs in Rajasthan.
हमारी सरकार एक खुशहाल और अग्रणी राजस्थान बनाना चाहती है। हम प्रदेश में ऐसा वातावरण बनाने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध हैं जो नवाचार को बढ़ावा दे, निवेश को प्रोत्साहन करे और सतत विकास में सहयोगी भी बने। आज आप सभी के बीच में आकर मैं गौरव महसूस कर रहा हूं, उत्साहित भी हूं और आशा से भरा भी हुआ हूं कि हम नए राजस्थान की इबारत लिखने के लिए जा रहे हैं।
News now from the world of sports. The Summer Paralympics 2024 is underway in Paris, and Team India is starting its athletics and shooting campaign today. India hopes to better its tally from the last time round with the hope of winning 25 medals and more. In fact, my colleague Vimal Mohan, who is in Paris, he spoke to the World Championships and Asiad gold medalist Yasir Mohammad. Let's listen in to that conversation.
एक तो सबसे पहले आपकी कहानी से शुरू करते हैं। ये एक्सीडेंट आपका घास काटने वाली मशीन से हुआ था?
हाँ जी सर, बचपन में हो गया था। जो घास काटती है मशीन, पट्टे को उतरने वाली मशीन होती है ना, उसमें आ गया था बचपन में।
और वहाँ से फिर आपने, जैसे आप बता रहे थे, नेशनल्स में आए, वो हमें बताइए, क्योंकि आपको पता नहीं था इस गेम के बारे में। एक अवेयरनेस जो है, ये एक बहुत बड़ा टास्क है जिसके बारे में एनडीटीवी कोशिश करता रहता है। हम कई अपने कॉरपोरेट्स के साथ, है ना, अंडे हैं, उनके साथ हम कोशिश करते रहते हैं।
सर, ये स्टोरी ऐसी है कि मेरे कॉलेज में एथलेटिक मीट चल रही थी और ऐसे ही मैंने उसमें पार्टिसिपेट किया और मैंने एबल बॉडी में थ्रो किया और फर्स्ट टाइम मेरा मेडल आया था थ्रो में, शॉट पुट में। और वहाँ पे ही मेरे कोच ने मुझे देखा था फर्स्ट टाइम और उन्होंने मुझे बताया था कि ऐसे पैरालंपिक गेम्स होती हैं, अगर आप करना चाहो तो मैं आपको ट्रेनिंग करा सकता हूँ।
और ये आपका पहला ओलंपिक्स है?
जी हाँ जी, मेरा पहला है। जी जी।
या सर, आपके गांव पे फ़र्क पड़ा मलेरकोटला में आपके बाहर आने से?
जी सर, बहुत सारे प्लेयर हैं जो मुझे खुद को मैसेज करते हैं कि हमने सर गेम करनी है, जब मुझे बताओ कैसे अप्लाई होता है या कैसे नेशनल गेम्स होती हैं। बहुत ज़्यादा फ़र्क पड़ा है।
And news now from the world of entertainment. NDTV's Arun Singh, he spoke to the stars of the Lord of the Rings series. In fact, Tyro, he spoke on Theo's journey from fear to bravery. Let's listen in to that interesting conversation.
And now joining us are Ismail and Tyro. A very warm welcome to NDTV. My first question to you, Ismail. Of course, your character is a new addition to Tolkien's world. Was there any pressure, or did you take any inspiration to develop the character, or was it written so well that you didn't have to do much?
No, there is pressure, of course. There is pressure, but I was very ready to enter Tolkien's world. I'm a huge fan, and I wanted to do right by it. I love the elves. I love all things Tolkien. So it was just for me just an incredible opportunity to just make something very, very, very cool. You know, it's written beautifully, but with a lot of space for me to also be creative.
And your character has a duality. There's fear, there's bravery. How did you plan to navigate it? Did you do any exercises? Were you doing any notes to play that kind of duality?
I think it's kind of just like Theo is he just does whatever like he wants, you know what I mean? Like he's such an impulsive person, and I think I just drew on to that of just like put myself into these situations and just when I'm in these scenes, act as if I truly am Theo in this moment. And that's what helped me get that kind of that action out, because really he's scared for his life almost all the time, but he has no choice but to fight. And that's kind of what I draw on. It's that
any quality of Theo that you relate with?
Any
as a person?
Any qualities? I think we both are very sensitive and emotional and I guess in touch with our emotions and aren't afraid to show how we feel about someone or something, which I think
Very similar fashion style.
You think Theo would be?
You're looking very cool, by the way.
Thank you.
What about you? Any trait that you pick from your character or you relate with?
I mean, I relate with him quite a bit, you know, and that's like, it's a little tricky sometimes to answer that question, because it sounds like I'm saying I'm a hero and an action this and action that. But I think it's more things like his loyalty, his how much he wears his heart in his sleeve, how many questions, how inquisitive he is, how curious he is to a fault, and how you know, like I don't. We were asked if they were like good or bad characters or morally gray. I don't see him being any of those things. I just think he's consistently trying to figure out what he's doing here and what his contribution is in this world, and that's essentially what I'm thinking about all the time to a fault. I need to chill, and I don't often, but it's very similar to him.
But do you also feel heroic in your real life?
I mean, I think you're able to be heroic in many ways. I think I've had some quite, I mean, with humility, with some opportunities to do, to take some actions that have real historic consequences, and and that's something that not many people can say. And I've had those opportunities to actually shift the course of, for example, being in fantasy and being like the first elf of color. That's actually something in terms of like the cinema or television history, you know. And like I don't want to downplay that. So then that's a blessing that I've been given, and I take that wholeheartedly. It's daunting, but I feel very proud.
Kudos to that. Kudos to that. I also asked this from Megan and Mahila also, that, you know, did they do any exercises to develop the bond with their co-actors, especially if you two had to do anything? How did your chemistry build?
I'm sure we did stuff. I don't really remember.
I mean, we did. Remember that we started doing stunts like.
Oh yeah.
Early on, like, yeah, we would just like try to play football together, but he was 12 years old and he was just like this high, but he was actually better at football than I was. I've always been terrible at it.
So football helped you guys bond well,
in a way.
I just think just us being together, like with just the work, drew us closer, and just like. We have some real raw emotional scenes. You can't help but like bond with the person that you're giving all that to.
Lovely. We'll wrap it with a segment which is called Speed is my middle name, so you'll have to be quick with this. Oh. These are quick questions. We'll start with Ismail. Favorite Elvish word?
Oh my God. Melon.
Okay. Arendir's best quality?
He says exactly what he needs to say, no more.
one word to describe Theo.
But
that's the question for him, yeah.
Okay. Actually, heroic.
Okay. Who do you think is the wisest character in the series?
Poppy.
Who's the biggest prankster on set?
That's actually Ben Walker.
Okay. Now we'll go to Tyro. Favorite scene in the film or in the series? Okay, that could be a long answer. Okay, we'll skip to another one. First question. Theo's most relatable trait?
Relatable. He's got a lot of hormones going on.
Okay, one word to describe Aaron Deer.
Stoic.
If you could play any other character in the series, who would it be?
Sauron.
Favorite location in Middle Earth?
Numenor.
Favorite line your character says?
Mother.
It was fun having you two on NDTV. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
This week on India Ascends.
Pole-bound Sri Lanka and volatile Bangladesh witnessing India versus China power play. Will the trouble in Balochistan topple the cozy China-Pakistan relationship? Is the pro-China Muizzu government in Maldives in trouble? The French flip-flop over the next Prime Minister continues.
All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gauri Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate, let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. 10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
This week on India Ascends.
Pole-bound Sri Lanka and volatile Bangladesh witnessing India versus China power play. Will the trouble in Balochistan topple the cozy China-Pakistan relationship? Is the pro-China Muizzu government in Maldives in trouble? The French flip-flop over the next Prime Minister continues.
All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gauri Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get
A Delhi court directs the framing of multiple charges including murder and provocation with intent to cause riots against the Congress leader Jagdish Taitla in connection with the anti-Sikh riots of 1984. A big apology from the Prime Minister in Maharashtra over the Shivaji statue collapse ahead of the crucial assembly elections. The Prime Minister taunts the opposition over insults to Veer Savarkar. As more and more actors come out in the Mollywood Me Too case in Kerala and demands grow for the CPM MLA Mukesh to step down, the Kerala government holds a key meet. The CPI's executive says Mukesh must go. No end to the protests over the rape and murder horror in Kolkata. The Kolkata police block a BJP march to the State Women's Commission. The police enter a metro station and evict protesters. The former Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister accuses the government of spying on him using drones. The Chief Minister calls it a diversionary tactic and refutes the charges. First medals for India at the Paris Paralympics, a gold for the shooter Avni Lakhera, a bronze for Mona Agarwal. Good evening. A Delhi court has directed the framing of charges including murder and provocation with intent to cause riots against the Congress leader Jagdish Taitla in a case related to the killing of Thakur Singh, Badal Singh and Gurcharan Singh outside the Pul Bangash Gurdwara in Delhi during the anti-Sikh riots of 1984. The case has been registered by the CBI. Formal charges that of unlawful assembly, rioting, disobedience to order, defiling a place of worship, abetment, mischief, so many more, apart from murder and intent to cause a riot, will now be framed on the 13th of September when Mr. Taitla will be present to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. The CBI in a charge sheet filed in May last year had accused Mr. Taitla, a former union minister, of inciting, instigating and provoking a mob assembled near the Gurdwara in November 1984.
1984 में जो उस समय की प्रधानमंत्री इंदिरा गांधी के कत्ल के बाद जो जेनोसाइड दिल्ली में हुआ, जिसको लीड कर रहे थे सज्जन कुमार जैसे और जगदीश टाइटलर जैसे, आज उनके जख्म जिनके लोग परिवार के मार दिए गए थे, कत्ल कर दिए गए थे, शहीद कर दिए गए थे, उनके कहीं ना कहीं जख्मों पे जो मलम लगाने का काम कोर्ट ने किया है। हम धन्यवाद करते हैं कोर्ट का कि जिस तरीके से उन्होंने इंसाफ किया है, फैसला किया है।
40 साल से हम प्रयास कर रहे थे, पहले से जन जेल गया, थोड़ी से आज एक उम्मीद की किरण जागी थी। जगदीश टाइटलर पर चार्ज पेश हुआ, उससे बहुत ही राहत मिली है कि ये बहुत जल्द, जिस तरह सज्जन कुमार जेलों के सलाखों के पीछे हैं, इसी तरह ये जगदीश टाइटलर भी बहुत जल्द सलाखों के पीछे होगा। ये 1984 का सिख कत्लेआम जो है, ये कोई छोटी बात नहीं है। देखो जी, उम्मीद तो है हमें, जैसे आज चार्जशीट पेश हुई है, इसके ऊपर धाराएं लगी हैं इतनी, तो 13 सितंबर को बहुत बड़ी उम्मीद है कि वाकई इसके ऊपर कुछ ना कुछ जज साहब इस पर कुछ करेंगे।
Is Kapil Madan and a does he take a pro-Congress position?
और आज कोर्ट ने माना कि जगदीश टाइटलर के खिलाफ सफिशिएंट एविडेंस है, सफिशिएंट प्रूफ है और उनके खिलाफ मर्डर का केस चलाया जाना चाहिए और उसके लिए अब उनको कोर्ट में 13 सितंबर को सम्मन कर लिया गया है। मुझे यकीन है सज्जन कुमार की तरह जगदीश टाइटलर भी जेल में सड़ेंगे और सिखों को जो इन्होंने कत्लेआम किया था, उन पीड़ितों को इंसाफ मिलेगा।
Could you just tell me about today's final framing of charges?
Well, today the matter was, the case was listed for passing of the order on charge. The court had extensively heard the arguments on charge on behalf of complainant, on behalf of the accused as well as the CBI, the prosecuting agency. And today the court has pronounced this order on charge that I find sufficient evidence. Ample evidence is the word used, is ample evidence on the basis of which the charges have to be framed and for which Jagdish Taitler has to face the trial. And for formal framing of the charges, The court has fixed the date for 13th of September 2024 for him to come and sign whether he is. Yes, though it has not been framed yet. It will be framed on 13th. But however, the court has given this order that we will be proceeding under these charges. That is 143, 147, 153A, 188, 295, 302. 302 read with 109. 109 is the betment for murder. So these are the charges.
My colleague Shreya Ghosh joins us now for more on this story. Shreya, let me just ask you a few questions about this. Now, firstly, this is a case, one among many, that has followed Jagdish Titler for decades. How significant are the charges against him at this stage? Because he's been fighting these allegations for a very long time.
That's right. It has been an excruciatingly long-running legal battle. And finally today at Rao's Avenue Court, the special CBI judge said that there is ample evidence to direct the CBI to frame charges against Congress leader Jagdish Titler in the killing of 3 Sikh people in the year 1984 during the anti-Sikh riots. This is quite significant because we understand the entire rampage that took place at Pulbangash Gurudwara on November 1st, 1984. It has affected the lives of so many people who we spoke to today as well outside court, and they believe that September 13th, when the silver lies on September 13th, when Jagdish Titler will have to appear in person and will have to plead if he's guilty or not. And we already know that he has been accused of abatement of murder and rioting, and the CBI had filed this charge sheet against him on the basis of the testimonies given by eyewitnesses, 3 eyewitnesses back then, and they said that on the night of November 1st, 1984, around 40 years ago, he was part of Jagdish Titler was present outside Pulbangash Gurudwara, wherein he got out of his ambassador car and made inflammatory remarks, instigated the mob who were already angered by the assassination of the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, who was assassinated by her Sikh bodyguards. So they were already angered, and his comments, his inflammatory comments, further enraged the mob there, which allegedly led to the killing of 3 people alongside the rampage that took place at the Gurudwara on November 1st, 1984. So now,
so just be with us for a moment. I'll try and get a couple of reactions. Joining us, Kapil Madan, the Supreme Court advocate. Mr. Madan, these are very, very serious charges of murder as well, provocation with intent to cause riots. Given the gravity of the charges and the fact that the Delhi court has directed these framing of charges to take place, do you believe that this might actually be the biggest struggle for Jagdish Titler, who's been facing these allegations for decades?
So, Vishnu, let me explain our viewers what is the legal position when the court frames charge. Now, at the time of framing of charges, the court sift the evidence for a limited purpose of finding out whether there exists a prima facie case or not. It is not an exercise where the court has to do a threadbare analysis of the documents or the reliability of the witnesses or the reliability of the evidence produced in support of the charge sheet. However, only a prima facie view is formed by the court that yes, there exists some material which shows some suspicion, and therefore, thereafter the trial takes place. But I do agree with you that given the fact that the trial will now start, there would be a tedious process wherein Mr. Titler will have to appear in the court and would need to lead evidence or to cross-examine the witnesses or to test the veracity of what the prosecution witnesses are saying. The process of trial go on, and you never know the trial. During the course of the trial, sometimes new avenues get open up. Whether the evidence presented is credible enough, whether the evidence present, is it admissible or not? All these things will be tested during the course of the trial.
No, but Mr.
yes,
Madan,
at this stage,
it's not just the murder
fact of the matter
charges.
is
I mean, if you
court
look
will
at what the
proceed with
formal
trial
charges are
insofar
right
as
now,
the charges which are
unlawful
placed.
assembly, rioting, disobedience to order, defiling a place of worship, mischief by fire and theft, etc., etc. There are a host of charges which he now faces, all of which he's going to have to fight, well beyond just the murder charges themselves. Therefore, do you not believe that he faces an uphill battle in having to prove his innocence in this?
So, Vishnu, let me again tell your viewers, our criminal jurisprudence is premised on the fact, the basic principle is that the accused is always presumed to be innocent until proven guilty. It is the role of the prosecution to show to the court that there exists credible, admissible evidence that shows commission of offense qua Mr. Titler, and it is only then the accused will be in a position wherein he will need to prove his case at the time when the court will record his statement of accused under section 313. And, if there is a probability where Mr. Titler may choose to lead a defense evidence also.
All right.
The basic premise is the accused is presumed to be innocent until guilty, and it is the role and the job of the prosecution to show to the court.
So we finally
that,
reached that stage after so many decades. That's where the legal position is now. But just be with us, Kapil. We've got Shazia Ilmi of the BJP joining us at this stage. Shazia, look at the legal case with you in just a moment, Shazia. But just politically, the significance of this. The Congress has all along said and have apologized for the 1984 riots. But now you've got a Delhi court directing the framing of charges. So how significant is this development, and does that apology of the Congress in the past at all count for anything in your opinion?
Apologizing is one thing, but we are looking at very serious charges, and we're looking at somebody who made a speech which resulted in a rampage and killing and death of 3 persons. So which is why the Delhi Rouse Avenue Court has directed the CBI to frame charges. And the court has also said that there is ample evidence, the material is sufficient to frame the charges against the accused of these titles. And this is something that has gone on for so long, and for so many years attempts have been made to frame charges, and somehow, justice has been denied to the families of those who have died. So it has been found that the trial against Titler is under certain sections of the penal code, and this is exactly what has happened. Now, this is the death of 3 Sikhs. Gurdwara Pul Bangash, and arson took place there in 1984, and we all know in what context, in what situation this happened.
Right. All right. Well, Shazia, thanks very much for sharing your views with us. So this now moves to the trial stage with the court directing the framing of charges. But as Kapil adds, these will all have to be proven. But one way or the other, I think we can all hope that at the end of this process, one way or the other, there is justice which takes place. There are so many families which have been affected and impacted by the 1984 riots. Even now, the memory of those very, very much alive. We just all hope for justice. We're going to move on now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today apologized to Chhatrapati Shivaji and all of those who were hurt by the collapse of the legendary ruler statue at Rajkot Fort. He was in Maharashtra today in Mumbai. He said that the moment I landed here, I first apologized to Shivaji over the statue collapse. I also apologized to people who were hurt by that collapse. In fact, he said this in Palghar in Maharashtra. Those who consider Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj as their deity and have been deeply hurt, I bow my head and apologize to them. Our values are different. For us, nothing is bigger than our deity. Meanwhile, a consultant involved in the structural designing of the Chhatrapati Shivaji statue in Maharashtra, Sindhudurg, which collapsed recently, has been arrested. The arrest comes days after protests from opposition leaders seeking a thorough investigation into the collapse. Speaking to a news channel, the consultant named in the FIR has said that he had submitted the design of the platform to the Indian Navy through the state's Public Works Department, but had nothing to do with the statue and its construction itself.
मेरे सभी साथियों के लिए छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ये सिर्फ नाम नहीं है, हमारे लिए छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ये सिर्फ राजा महाराजा राजपुरुष मात्र नहीं है, हमारे लिए छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज आराध्य देव है। और मैं आज सर झुका करके मेरे आराध्य देव छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की उनके चरणों में मस्तक रख के माफी मांगता हूं। हमारे संस्कार अलग है, हम वो लोग नहीं हैं जो आए दिन भारत मां के महान सपूत इसी धरती के लाल वीर सावरकर को अनाप शनाप गालियां देते रहते हैं, अपमानित करते रहते हैं, देशभक्तों की भावनाओं को कुचलते हैं। उसके बावजूद भी वीर सावरकर को गालियां देने के बावजूद भी माफी मांगने को जो तैयार नहीं है, अदालतों में जाकर के लड़ाई लड़ने को तैयार है, लेकिन इतने बड़े महान सपूत का अपमान करके जिनको पश्चाताप नहीं होता है, महाराष्ट्र की जनता उनके संस्कार को अब जान ले। और ये हमारे संस्कार है कि इस धरती पर आते ही आज मैंने पहला काम मेरे आराध्य देव छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज में उनके चरणों में सर झुका करके क्षमा मांगने का कर रहा हूं।
Big statement coming from Prime Minister Modi, profuse apology from his side. Of course, this amid the political slugfest that we are seeing over Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj statue collapse in Sindhudurg. Prime Minister Modi, they're saying that he's an ardent devotee of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. In fact, Shivaji is not just a name, but his idol. So therefore, he bows down before his idol and seeks his apology. This is the statement that he made, a big statement. In fact, in Maharashtra itself, he was on a one-day visit to Maharashtra, which is when he made this statement just about half an hour back. So yes, a big reaction coming in. We know that it's election year in Maharashtra, and this entire issue, this collapse, this crash of this particular statue has become a politically serious as well as emotive issue, especially for the opposition. They are leaving no stone unturned in attacking the government over this. They have been saying that it is due to alleged negligence and corruption on the part of state government, which led to the collapse of a revered warrior's statue. Uddhav Thackeray hitting, Aditya Thackeray hitting, many within the Congress party, within the NCP, hitting at the state government over this. State government, of course, in a damage control mode, taking multiple measures, saying they're forming committees, one to probe the incident, another to look into re-erection of a bigger statue on the same spot, making arrest. A structural consultant has been arrested today, and of course they're on the lookout for the contractor who was responsible for the design and building of this particular statue. State government has washed its hands off as far as taking the blame and responsibility is concerned. Eknath Shinde had also apologized, but they continue to maintain that the construction was the responsibility of the Indian Navy, which is why multiple committees have been formed. Navy is also looking into the matter and probing the entire collapse incident.
The West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has written a second letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi over the brutal rape and murder of a postgraduate trainee doctor at Kolkata's R.J. Kaur Medical College and Hospital. She says that she's received no response to an earlier mail that she had sent. Meanwhile, there have been continuing protests in the city with the BJP blocking a BJP march, a BJP march, I beg your pardon, being blocked to the State Women's Commission office. The BJP, which is the primary opposition party in Bengal, has accused the commission of being partisan since the discovery of the victim's body on the 9th of August.
कोलकाता में मेडिकल छात्रा की हत्या और रेप के विरोध में लगातार विरोध प्रदर्शन जारी है और आज बीजेपी के महिला मोर्चा ने प्रोटेस्ट करने का आह्वान किया था। उसको देखते हुए आप देखें कि किस तरह से पुलिस जो प्रोटेस्टर्स हैं उनको ढूंढ रही है, खोज रही है। इस वक्त मैं हूँ करुणामयी मेट्रो स्टेशन के अंदर और यहाँ पर आप देखें कि पुलिस मेट्रो स्टेशन के अंदर तक घुस आई है और यहाँ पर जो भी महिला मोर्चा के प्रोटेस्टर या दूसरे जो लोग जो विरोध करने आए हैं उनको किस तरह से खोज कर पकड़ा जा रहा है। इस वक्त मैं हूँ करुणामयी मेट्रो स्टेशन के अंदर और यहाँ पर जो कोलकाता पुलिस है वो तमाम जगहों से जो प्रोटेस्टर्स हैं उनको खोज कर पकड़ रही है। ये देखिए, उसको तुरंत पुलिस यहाँ पर डिटेन कर लेती है। बड़ी संख्या में जो महिला पुलिसकर्मी हैं वो यहाँ पर तैनात हैं और कहीं भी कोई मिलता है उसको तुरंत डिटेन किया जा रहा है। कुछ महिलाओं को यहाँ से मेट्रो स्टेशन से डिटेन किया गया है और यहाँ पर पुलिस ने सड़क पर और मेट्रो स्टेशन पर जो प्रोटेस्टर्स थे उनको खोजा है और खोज के उनको यहाँ पर डिटेन किया जा रहा है। ये देखिए कि कुछ महिलाओं को मेट्रो ट्रेन के अंदर से निकालकर डिटेन कर लिया गया है और उनको पुलिस अपने साथ में लेकर जा रही है। ये देखिए कि पूरा जो काफिला है कोलकाता पुलिस का वो यहाँ पर है और बीजेपी के कार्यकर्ता यही आरोप लगाते हैं कि उनको कहीं भी ममता सरकार प्रोटेस्ट करने की परमिशन नहीं देती है, इसीलिए उनको हाईकोर्ट जाना पड़ता है और हाईकोर्ट जाने के बाद जब उनको परमिशन मिलती है तब वो प्रोटेस्ट कर पाते हैं। ये देखिए कि कुछ महिलाओं को डिटेन कर लिया है और ये मेट्रो के बाहर ले जा रही है। कोलकाता से कैमरा पर्सन जीडी शंकर के साथ मैं मुकेश सिंह सेंगर, एनडीटीवी।
एक मुख्यमंत्री को और नहीं हो सकता, एक मुख्यमंत्री जो अपना राज्य नहीं संभाल पा रही हैं। और देखिए, मैं कोई दोषारोपण नहीं करना चाहता, ये घटना इस तरीके की महिलाओं के साथ अगर किसी भी राज्य में होती है तो वो उतनी ही शर्मनाक है, उतनी ही चिंताजनक है। बल्कि मैं तो आग्रह करूंगा केंद्र सरकार से कि वहां की वास्तु स्थिति का संज्ञान लेते हुए राज्य में राष्ट्रपति शासन, बंगाल राज्य में राष्ट्रपति शासन।
After the horrific incident that was reported from the city of Kolkata of a rape and murder of a junior doctor, there were protests that broke out in the state, and also there were reports of vandalism across the state where protesters tried to enter the hospital. It was West Bengal Governor C.V. Ananda Bose who came to the national capital and met Home Minister Amit Shah. It was a meeting that lasted for almost 1 hour, in which the sources indicated that the governor had submitted a detailed report to Home Minister Amit Shah, and he was apprised about the current law and order situation in the state. West Bengal Governor C.V. Ananda Bose, remember, earlier also came to the national capital where he met the president of our country and also the vice president, and he also at that point of time apprised the current situation of the law and order situation in West Bengal. And this time when yesterday he arrived in the national capital, what is the current situation and how a West Bengal governor has also demanded for additional security forces, the paramilitary forces, to be deployed in West Bengal, because sources also indicated that there could be more protests that can broke out in the state of West Bengal as far as the justice for the family members of the victims are concerned. And this is the reason perhaps West Bengal Governor C.V. Ananda Bose came to the national capital and met Home Minister Amit Shah today.
Well, it's time now for us to take a short break. There's a lot more coming up.
Get the magic of the best working for you now.
Link your payment cards once, collect rewards forever.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
This week on India Ascends.
Pole-bound Sri Lanka and volatile Bangladesh witnessing
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Welcome back. More protests continue in Kerala as a result of the Me Too movement, as it were, in the state, linked to several allegations which have been raised about actors being sexually exploited or harassed over a period of several years. The Mahila Congress has been holding a protest at the Secretariat in Thiruvananthapuram. Meanwhile, more Malayalam actors who were accused of sexual misconduct in the wake of the Justice Hema Committee report's release were booked by Kerala Police on Thursday, including the CPM MLA M. Mukesh. Another case against Jayasuriya, the actor, has been filed. The complainant has alleged sexual assault by the actor. A woman actor had accused the actors Mukesh and Jayasuriya of sexual misconduct. Meanwhile, the CPI has called for Mukesh's resignation. According to sources, the CPI State Secretary met the Chief Minister. There have been lots of discussions on this, and there has been a real discussion on whether Mukesh, the MLA, needs to step down. The CPM's national leader, Brinda Karat, expressed disappointment over the party's state leadership's decision on the resignation of the rape-accused Mukesh as an MLA. Well, earlier on today, my colleague Maria Shakil spoke to Shashi Tharoor on his views on what's been happening in his state.
I'm going to take you to current times now, to your home state of Kerala, where we are seeing a very disturbing trend come in with Me Too movement, which is being seen. Dr. Tharoor, you're a proud Malayali. and you have spoken about your sisters, you've often spoken about your mother, so clearly you understand that this was a society which was matrilineal in nature. So women had that power, they were seen as almost power behind the forces.
I grew up in a household of strong women because I have two sisters and a mother who are all women with strong views and independent ways of functioning in their own right.
Are you disappointed with what's happening in the society there?
I am, but at the same time, I'm proud that the first place in India that has actually exposed what everyone says is going on in every other film industry is Kerala. At least Kerala stood up and said, this is not right. A serious committee composed entirely of women, including a retired woman judge, did this inquiry. Where I think is inexcusable is that the report was submitted in 2019 and the state government sat on it for 5 years. It should have been released on the spot. They've released it with 69 pages redacted. So all the names of people and specific accusations have been left out. But I gather the entire unredacted report has been given to a court, and the court has instructed the police to start filing suo motu FIRs. So first of all, the exposure of the issue, and second, the beginnings of action being taken are actually a good sign that Kerala is taking it seriously. The crimes described are shameful, reprehensible, and must attract condign punishment. But it is very difficult to pretend that it's only in Kerala this has happened. Everyone connected with the film world has anecdotally told me of such practices that are rampant elsewhere. It's that other film industries and other languages in India do not seem to have shown the courage that the Malayali film industry has done, and to that I hope you will give the Keralites that much of credit.
And as a society watcher, someone who is socio-politically involved, do you see this as degradation of the society?
It is. I think there are too many things now coming out of the closet of our society. First of all, the assaults and violence against women, which is perhaps the most worrying, going back forever, but now being talked about since the Nirbhaya tragedy of 2012 and now the RG Kaur Medical College rape and murder of 2024. That's a dozen years in which nothing seems to have changed. Every day you pick up the newspaper, there is some incident of some woman being assaulted. Could be a college student, could be a child, could be a middle-aged lady, could be a professional. There are all sorts of people every day enduring the indignity of violence. And there's something wrong with us as Indian men if we can't address this problem in our society's interest. Secondly, there is the overall, as you said, attitudes in society. Where parents very often feed their male children first before they feed their daughters, where the son is made to feel that he is the leader of the family, even if sometimes they may be a more capable sister. Our entire society needed change. I remember discussing with Sheila Dikshit after Nirbhaya whether we can't have serious gender sensitivity instruction in the classrooms for boys from a very young age. And I hope that all of this can be implemented. Otherwise, we can't just go on having tragedy after tragedy, big shock and horror and outrage, then it all subsides and we move on to the next tragedy. That doesn't work. We need systemic change.
And how do you look at these resignations which have come in, the powerful associations like Amma and all?
That's the one association.
Yes. So do you
people
actually
have resigned from there. In some cases, their own names have been taken by the accusers. One of the secretary.
Shouldn't they be
of Amma,
cleaning up the system rather than resigning, taking moral responsibility? How does it really?
No, I think both should be done. It's not just moral responsibility. In one or two cases, there are FIRs against the people who have resigned. In one or two cases, yes, it's just moral responsibility. But the fact is they did sit and preside over a system that allowed this to happen to so many young women. And therefore, I think that there should be some accountability. But equally, the only way you can prevent anything like this from happening again is creating systems and making rules. First, when we talk about systems, there's some basic facilities. Having toilets for women, having facilities, restrooms, areas where they can literally physically rest, whether it's in a hospital as in Kolkata, whether it's in a film set, that women should be recognized to have the right to their own space and to be free of interference in that space. Secondly, you need rights. I mean, every woman, when she signs a contract for a job, should know what it involves and what it doesn't involve. And third, the men should be told that misbehavior of this nature will warrant very severe punishment, and they could even lose their jobs on a film set or whatever, or that the film producers themselves will be happy to cooperate with a complaint. Then we need some sort of body. Now, in the workplace, there's supposed to be the Vishakha recommendations, where each company has its own committee on sexual harassment. Clearly, if the industry is complicit in what's going on, that alone is not enough. So you need a tribunal with some outside people in it that can receive complaints. Because if, for example, you're shooting a film and the power structure in the film is such that you as a young woman are being mistreated or abused, you're not going to go to the same producers and directors who represent that power structure and complain. You'll either leave the set or you'll just accept it and take it in stride, as so many women were forced to do. If you have an outside tribunal you can go and tell them this is what's happening. Now, one of the biggest tragedies in any workplace sexual harassment situation is when the woman feels that it's either this or her job, and she needs her job, or she needs the money, or she needs the opportunity, and she therefore feels that this is the price she has to pay. For generations in every film industry, that seems to be what many women have gone through. And that is something that really, really should not be allowed to continue.
So do you think, like the Justice Hema Commission which was set up, there should be similar inquiries done in other regional cinemas?
Ideally, yes. But the thing about the Hema Committee inquiry is that it came up as a demand from women in the industry themselves. But yes, if we were going to have a decreed by the government that every state should set something like this up, it may not be a bad idea at all. But I think in terms of the way our system works, it will be left to states probably to do.
The Shiromani Akali Dal has sent a legal notice to the Central Board of Film Certification concerning Kangana Ranaut's upcoming film Emergency. The party seeks to prevent the film's release, citing concerns over its portrayal of historic events and figures, particularly those related to the Sikh community. The notice addresses top officials of the CBSE, requesting an immediate revocation of the certification granted to the film, thereby blocking its release. The notice sent by Paranjit Singh Sarna, president of the Delhi unit of the Shiromani Akali Dal, claims that the recently released trailer of the film Emergency depicts historical facts inaccurately. According to the notice, these depictions misrepresent the Sikh community and promote hatred and social discord. Mr. Sarna argues that such portrayals are misleading, offensive and damaging to social fabric in Punjab and India. The notice also accuses Kangana of using the film Emergency not to make a genuine political or historic statement against the Congress party, but to target the Sikh community. It criticizes her, along with the media and the political backing that she's received, of deliberately distorting history in order to spread animosity. Allegations of drone surveillance at the former Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Jairam Thakur are at the center of a huge political controversy in Himachal Pradesh, with the BJP leader and Himachal Pradesh leader of the opposition claiming that when he was leaving for the assembly today, he saw a drone flying over his house. He's criticized the state government. He said that the Sukhu government is violating his privacy and that phones are already being tapped, and now drones are being used for surveillance. The Chief Minister, he says, should have answered on this but has remained silent. The Congress has now replied and says that the allegations, the government has now replied saying that the allegations which have been made are not real. They've denied the allegations altogether.
आज जब मैं आ रहा था विधानसभा, उस वक्त भी वहां पर ड्रोन हमारे घर के आंगन में घूम रहा था, और ये मैं समझता हूं कि बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। तमाशा बन गया सरकार का, समझ में नहीं आ रहा है। विपक्ष के नेता के घर की खिड़कियों से, दरवाजे से गाड़ियां खड़ी कहां हैं, कौन गाड़ियां खड़ी हैं, कौन आदमी आए, उनका भी ड्रोन से ये कर रहे हैं। लेकिन विपक्ष के लोग हैं, उनके फोन सर्विलेंस पर, और उनके फोन सर्विलेंस के साथ साथ में उनके घर की चारों तरफ से हुआ जाकर के वहां पर ड्रोन से इस तरह से करना, ये निजता का भी हनन है, और मैं समझता हूं ये बहुत ओछी हरकत की है, और जिसको मुख्यमंत्री को जवाब देना चाहिए था, लेकिन मुख्यमंत्री जी चुपचाप बैठे थे।
तो ड्रोन उड़ाया जा रहा है, वो जो एसजे पैनल वाले एक मैपिंग जीआई मैपिंग सर्वे कर रहे हैं, वो सारे शिमला में उड़ रहा है। क्यों हम उनकी जासूसी करेंगे? वो पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री रहे हैं। फिर भी एक पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री ने बात उठाई, हमने उसमें बारे में कहा है कि अगर उनको ऐसा लगता है तो मैं उसकी जानकारी प्राप्त करूंगा और जो इंक्वायरी हो सकेगी मैं पता करूंगा कि क्यों हो रहा है। लेकिन इस प्रकार सनसनी फैलाकर फिर वॉकआउट करना हर छोटी बात पर, ये अच्छा नहीं है।
The External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has delivered a firm message on India's stance towards Pakistan, declaring that the era of uninterrupted dialogue is over. Mr. Jaishankar said that actions have consequences, alluding to Pakistan-sponsored terrorism and reaffirming New Delhi's position that terror and talks cannot go together. The era of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan is over, is what the External Affairs Minister has had to say. Actions must have consequences. He said this at a book launch today.
Let me say this. I think the era of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan is over. Actions have consequences. And insofar as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, I think 370 is done. What I do want to say is we are not passive, and whether events take a positive or a negative direction, either way we will react to it.
And earlier today, my colleague Mohammad Ghazali spoke to the author of the book, which was released there by the Foreign Minister, Ambassador Rajiv Sikri.
So I'm joined here by Mr. Ambassador Rajiv Sikri, and his new book, Strategic Conundrums Reshaping Foreign Policy, was launched today by S. Jaishankar, the Foreign Minister of India. Sir, thanks for and best wishes for your new book. First of all, I wanted to ask you about that. Dr. Jaishankar was kind of reviewing your book, picking up on the points about it. Why do you call the neighborhood as conundrums?
Oh, I think that there are no easy choices in our neighborhood. And I've said that all our neighbors, which emerged as our neighbors only after the partition of India and India became independent. Before independence, we had Persia as a neighbor, we had Myanmar as a neighbor, we had Tibet as a neighbor. Now we've got new neighbors, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives. All these were part of a larger thing. So there is an identity crisis, I think, in these countries where they cannot get away from their relationship with India, their historical, cultural and other roots, and at the same time their desire, understandable, to forge their new identity as nation states. So this creates a little problem there, and it expresses itself often as anti-Indianism, because anything which goes wrong, India is to blame. Now, how do we tackle it? That is a conundrum, and it's not easy, but I've suggested some aspects what we can do.
So you have been a career diplomat, and I was going through your CV and saw you have served in almost every region. I will just like to draw your attention towards the conflict in West Asia right now, and I'll just put it here. So going by your experience, do you think that India is in any position to kind of strike or kind of drive any peace policy anywhere?
No. I don't think we should aim for that. The only people who can do it are the Americans. They have influence over Israel. I don't think that India has any ability to influence the conflict.
Well, there's great news for Indian sport, with the first medals for India at the Paris Paralympics coming in for the country. A gold for the shooter Avni Lakhera and a bronze for Mona Agarwal. Well, the Prime Minister has sent in a warm tweet. He says India has opened our medal account in the Paralympics 2024. Congratulations to Avni Lakhera for winning the coveted gold in the R2 Women 10-meter air rifle event. She's also created history. She's the first Indian woman athlete to win 3 Paralympic medals. Her dedication continues to make India proud. Well, the Summer Paralympic 2024 Games underway in Paris, with Team India starting our athletics and shooting campaign today. India are hoping to better our tally from last time around, with the hope of winning at least 25 medals. My colleague Vimal Mohan spoke to the World Championship and Asian gold medalist in shot put, Yasser Mohammed. Let's take a look.
एक तो सबसे पहले आपकी कहानी से शुरू करते हैं. ये एक्सीडेंट आपका घास काटने वाली मशीन से हुआ था?
हाँ जी सर, बचपन में हो गया था. जो घास काटती है मशीन, पट्टे को उतरने वाली मशीन होती है ना, उसमें आ गया था बचपन में.
और वहाँ से फिर आपने, जैसे आप बता रहे थे, नेशनल्स में आए, वो हमें बताइए, क्योंकि आप आपको पता नहीं था इस गेम के बारे में, एक अवेयरनेस जो है ये एक बहुत बड़ा टास्क है जिसके बारे में एनडीटीवी कोशिश करता रहता है। हम कई अपने कॉरपोरेट्स के साथ है ना, अंडे हैं उनके साथ हम कोशिश करते रहते हैं।
सर ये स्टोरी ऐसी है कि मेरे कॉलेज में एथलेटिक मीट चल रही थी और ऐसे ही मैंने उसमें पार्टिसिपेट किया और मैंने एबल बॉडी में थ्रो किया और फर्स्ट टाइम मेरा मेडल आया था थ्रो में, शॉट पुट में। और वहाँ पे ही मेरे कोच ने मुझे देखा था फर्स्ट टाइम और उन्होंने मुझे बताया था कि ऐसे पैरालंपिक गेम्स होती हैं, अगर आप करना चाहो तो मैं आपको ट्रेनिंग करा सकता हूँ।
और ये आपका पहला ओलंपिक्स है?
जी हाँ जी, मेरा पहला है। जी जी।
या सर आपके गांव पे फ़र्क पड़ा मलेरकोटला में आपके बाहर आने से?
जी सर, बहुत सारे प्लेयर हैं जो मुझे खुद को मैसेज करते हैं कि हमने सर गेम करनी है, जब मुझे बताओ कैसे अप्लाई होता है या कैसे नेशनल गेम्स होती हैं। बहुत ज़्यादा फ़र्क पड़ा है।
And Vimal also spoke to Nishad Kumar, a silver medalist at the Tokyo, the previous Paralympics.
हमारे साथ निषाद हैं और मैं बैठकर इनका इंटरव्यू इसलिए कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि मुझसे लगभग 1 फीट ज़्यादा लंबे हैं। 6'4". निषाद, आपने ढेर सारा मेडल जीता है, सिल्वर, ब्रॉन्ज, वर्ल्ड चैम्पियनशिप में। सबसे बड़ी बात है आपने एबल बॉडी का जो प्रतियोगिता हुई 2022 में, उसमें आपने मेडल उसमें 5th पोजीशन आना या एबल बॉडी में मेडल जीतना, उनके साथ compete करना, आप तो एक थ्रेट रहते हैं उनके लिए।
जी धन्यवाद पहले आपसे जुड़ने के लिए। और बहुत अच्छा लगता है जब हम ट्रेनिंग करते हैं और मौका मिलता है हमारे को एबल बॉडी में कम्पीट करने का और हम उस लेवल पर खुद को देखते हैं। और ये मतलब एक ड्रीम में होता है कि एबल बॉडी में हम कम्पीट कर रहे हैं और एक पैराथलीट होने के नाते, और हम इसका मतलब हम अच्छी ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं और एबल बॉडी में हम ऑल इंडिया में 5th फिनिश कर रहे हैं।
एक एथलेटिक्स से हमें काफ़ी सारे पदक भी मिले हैं पहले भी, और बहुत ज़्यादा उम्मीद भी है। हाई जंपर्स, जितने जंपर्स हैं, थ्रोअर्स हैं, उन सबसे बड़ी उम्मीद है। ये अचानक क्या चेंज आया, क्या सर्ज आया जिसकी वजह से पैरा एथलीट्स इंडिया के अच्छा कर रहा है?
मुझे लगता है मैच्योर हो गए एथलीट्स ज़्यादा ही, और ट्रेनिंग अच्छी हो रही है, अच्छी फैसिलिटीज़ मिल रही है उनको, और ट्रेनिंग में काफ़ी चेंजेस हुए हैं। और जैसे मैं पिछले तीन साल से यूएस में ट्रेनिंग कर रहा हूँ और अभी पिछले 1 महीने से जर्मनी में था, तो काफ़ी कुछ चेंज हुआ है। और जैसे अभी टीम एडवांस में भेजी है तो वो क्लाइमेट सेट होने के लिए, जेट लैग ठीक हो जाए खिलाड़ियों का, अच्छा परफॉर्म करे वो, तो इसलिए ये सब चीज़ें मैटर करती हैं।
Well, Prime Minister Modi was speaking today at a global fintech fest. He highlighted India's fintech prowess. He's also hit out at the opposition during the address, saying that they repeatedly ask questions on our true intentions.
मैं एआई के दुरुपयोग से जुड़ी आपकी चिंताओं को भी समझता हूं, इसलिए भारत ने एआई के एथिकल यूज के लिए ग्लोबल फ्रेमवर्क बनाने का भी आह्वान किया है। साथियों, फिनटेक सेक्टर की मदद के लिए सरकार पॉलिसी लेवल पर हर जरूरी बदलाव कर रही है। हाल में हमने एंजल टैक्स को हटाया है। आपको याद होगा, कुछ लोग पहले पूछते थे, पार्लियामेंट में खड़े होकर के पूछते थे और अपने आप को बहुत विद्वान मानने वाले लोग पूछते थे। सरस्वती जब बुद्धि बांट रही थी तो वो रास्ते में पहले ही खड़े थे। और क्या कहते थे? वो पूछते थे कि भारत में बैंक इतनी ब्रांचेज नहीं है, गांव-गांव बैंक अवेलेबल नहीं है, इंटरनेट नहीं है, यहाँ तक पूछ लेते थे बिजली भी तो नहीं है, रिचार्जिंग कहाँ होगा, फिनटेक क्रांति कैसे होगी, ये पूछा जाता था। लेकिन आज देखिए, 1 दशक में ही भारत में ब्रॉडबैंड यूजर 60 मिलियन यानी 6 करोड़ से बढ़कर 940 मिलियन यानी करीब 94 करोड़ हो गए हैं। एक समय था जब लोग भारत आते थे तो हमारी कल्चरल डाइवर्सिटी देखकर दंग रह जाते थे, हैरान हो जाते थे। अब लोग भारत आते हैं तो हमारी फिनटेक डाइवर्सिटी को देखकर भी हैरान होते हैं। एयरपोर्ट पर लैंड करने से लेकर स्ट्रीट फूड और शॉपिंग एक्सपीरियंस तक भारत की फिनटेक क्रांति चारों तरफ दिखती है।
Well, it's time to move on now to a very special interview. Let's go across to NDTV's Arun.
Hi, very warm welcome. We are talking Lord of the Rings of Power Season 2. Of course, with us is super talented cast and the director, Charlotte. A very warm welcome to NDTV. Start with Charlotte. This season has a all-female slate of directors. How did your collaboration, shape up the kind of series that we are seeing, the kind of output that we have really?
It's important to collaborate because you to follow the characters. And that's the most important, is that they may all make sense. So you need to be in touch all the time to discuss it. But, and then I was part of season 1, so I could share a bit of my experience with season 1 with the directors. But the look, the visuals, what we wanted looking for. And I prepared a lot with the showrunners too, to find the look of season 2, because we wanted it to go darker, different, stronger, more dramatic. So we tried to find that sort of look, darker look, and wanted every world to have its own personality, its own character, its own color. So those are moments and things you need to share with other directors.
I was just going to come to that. This is a very big series, and of
Yeah.
course, characters have their own complexities.
Yeah.
How did you keep that in mind of giving each character, the kind of shape that they deserve? A lot of hard work, of course, is the short answer.
I would say just preparation. You look for that, just research, you read it, you speak to the actors. They all also know their characters. They come up with a lot of ideas.
We'll talk about yours. Yours is a very complex character. There's a kind of duality. There's, of course, you see aggressiveness as well. How did you prepare and go into the role?
Obviously the preparation starts from just when you're cast, because already you're starting to sort of consume and mine as much as you can that was already established by Tolkien himself. Both of our characters are in the lore, so we have the benefit of what he sort of, created. But then where there are gaps, where there's room to interpret or add your own sense of experience, I think that's when it gets really exciting, because you feel like you can really sort of fuse the intention of the author with our intentions for Rings of Power, with my own desires for how I want this character to come across. And I feel like I'm still learning about her, because she is changing. She is evolving through these various circumstances. And season 2, she's put through the ringer. She's starting from a very, very low place. And I think what was interesting for me, especially to start season 2, the beginning of season 2, it's the death of the king. It's the, presumed transition of power. And it's tricky because really, initially, it's about her grief and the grief of Numenor and the grief of this island nation. So it's hard when that's where you're starting from.
Right.
But that, you with care and consideration, I wanted to navigate her through all the challenges she was going to face, because I know that the audience was deeply invested in her fate.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's a great sort of meaty role to get to inhabit.
And which personal trait of yours did you put in your character?
I think...
As you said, you've added a lot of your personal experience.
Been an all-round badass.
I took my crown from the shelf of my bookcase. It's hard because, I think what's interesting, oftentimes we get asked these questions, and I think there's that something that you want to preserve for yourself. You don't want to reveal all the specifics of your real life, your real thoughts and feelings. But for me, it always feels like this safe space to sort of put a lot of my, real world thoughts and feelings into. So, you know, there's a lot of me in there if you know me well, if you know where to look. But I think it's good to also preserve some of that for yourself and not necessarily give it all the way. And ultimately, it is Midiel's journey. I want the audience to see her journey, not necessarily Cynthia's.
Your character has also a lot of ambitions and is political savvy. Did you put any of your personal experiences, traits into it?
Everything.
We're all
That's him.
we're all
She says
trying.
it's all you.
It's all
We're all trying to navigate life, do you know what I mean? Without bumping into the furniture. So yeah, I guess you just you do what you've got to do. Really, it's a game of survival, just as life is for everybody. So yeah, I guess it's all you. Just one foot in front of the other, and just be aware of your surroundings with this one, and maybe capitalise on anything that she does wrong, anything that goes wrong. Just be there, ready to pounce. I think.
Yeah. Quick one from you. You've shot the last season as well. It was shot in New Zealand. This time it's in the UK. What's the one starking difference that you felt while filming?
It was a transportation between set and my house, because in New Zealand it takes 20 minutes to go to work in the morning because everything is closed in Auckland, and in London it's like an hour and a half because of traffic, because everything is further away.
So there were logistical issues.
There was a lot of logistics, but otherwise I think it was. Then we had access to the woods in England, and those were enormous. And also the fact to be able to go outside of the country, to go to Canary Islands, made a big difference, because during New Zealand we were actually stuck there. There was the pandemic, so we couldn't really leave. So we have a lot of very beautiful landscapes, but now it's more varied, maybe.
Lovely. Thank you. Thanks a lot for this conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Quickly do this.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
This week on India Ascents.
Pole-bound Sri Lanka and volatile Bangladesh witnessing India versus China power play. Will the trouble in Balochistan topple the cozy China-Pakistan relationship? Is the pro-China Muizzu government in Maldives in trouble? The French flip-flop over the next Prime Minister continues.
All this and more only on India Ascents with me, Gauri Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
This week on India Ascents.
Pole-bound Sri Lanka and volatile Bangladesh witnessing India versus China power play. Will the trouble in Balochistan topple the cozy China?
This week on India Ascents.
Pole-bound Sri Lanka and volatile Bangladesh witnessing India versus China power play. Will the trouble in Balochistan topple the cozy China-Pakistan relationship? Is the pro-China Muizzu government in Maldives in trouble? The French flip-flop over the next Prime Minister continues.
All this and more only on India Sense with me, Gauri Dwivedi.
Good evening. You're watching the evening news here on NDTV with me, Tanima Biswas. We'll get you all the top stories from across the country. But first up, the headlines. Muted growth for Indian economy. Q1 GDP lowest in 5 quarters at 6.7%. Strongest growth in manufacturing and construction. Trouble for Titler. Court orders to frame charges against the Congress leader in the Pulbangash violence case. CBI had invoked rioting and murder case sections against him in the 1984 riots case. Big apology from the Prime Minister in Maharashtra over the Shivaji statue collapse ahead of the crucial assembly elections. Prime Minister taunts opposition over insults to Veer Savarkar. Political street fight continues in Kolkata. BJP workers march to Women's Commission office in the city. This even as the centre and Bengal Chief Minister trade charges in the aftermath of the horrific rape and murder case. IAS officer T.V. Somanathan takes charge as Cabinet Secretary. Somanathan is a 1987 batch Tamil Nadu cadre officer. Somanathan takes over India's top bureaucratic position. Right, and we are beginning the bulletin with the latest GDP figures which have come through, which indicate that it's a muted growth for the Indian economy, with the Q1 GDP being lowest in the last, compared to the last 5 quarters. And to explain further, I am joined by Sakshi Bajaj, who is joining us to give us details, Sakshi, about what this means. Decode the numbers for us.
Well, like you said, muted growth, really muted GDP data coming in for the first quarter. So growth really muted for the first quarter, lowest in 5 quarters, coming in at 6.7%. Now compare this to the same period last year. Same period last year, we saw 8.2% growth. In the last quarter, we saw a growth rate of 7.8%. So what really has contributed to this muted growth? Well, economists believe, as per the data released, we see agriculture really at the weakest. We see strongest growth in manufacturing and construction. Now, agriculture growth as well as government expenditure, economists and analysts alike saying that, look, that really is the reason why we've seen this massive decline in, and a 5-quarter low in the data released. Now, how can we really fix this? Economists and analysts telling NDTV that, look, for an economy that wants to, look at being the top 3 among global economies, is also looking at a fast-paced momentum, we must fix this. So land and labor reforms are crucial for the agriculture sector, they believe, must be implemented as soon as possible. Of course, they also feel that going forward, while we have seen construction and infra spend, quality infrastructure spend is really the need of the hour. So these really are the quick fixes that economists and analysts are suggesting for India's economy. Muted growth, while some say that, look, this data is disappointing, others believe it is in line with their expectations, because remember, they were expecting agriculture to face the climate change impact, the monsoon impact as well. So they were saying that, look, agriculture data coming in weak, many are saying that, look, is in line with expectations. The government expenditure spend that has reduced, they say that, look, remember, last quarter was ahead of polls, and therefore we saw that infrastructure spend at the pace that we saw, which we haven't seen for this quarter. So really a mixed picture, but muted growth and the lowest in 5 quarters nonetheless.
Right, Sakshi there explaining all the details to us on the GDP's latest figures. Thank you so much for joining us with that, Sakshi. Shifting focus now to other stories, and a Delhi court has ordered framing of charges against Congress leader Jagdish Tytler in a case related to the killing of Thakur Singh, Badal Singh and Gurcharan Singh outside the Pulbangash Gurudwara in Delhi during the anti-Sikh riots of 1984. The CBI, in a charge sheet filed in May last year, had accused Tytler, a former union minister, of inciting, instigating and provoking the mob assembled near the Gurudwara. These are some of the top reactions coming in on this development.
After hearing our argument, the court framed the charge against him for the murder of 3 Sikhs and burning of the Gurudwara. Now, the case will go against him, and we are quite hopeful that he will also be in jail. Like Sajjan Kumar is in jail since last 6 years now, and we are quite hopeful that he will also be in jail soon. Gyani Surinder Singh was the main witness in this case. Unfortunately, he passed away. And he also told the court, he also told the CBI that how he was pressurized to give the wrong statements. Then his son, who is in Canada, he also gave the statements to the CBI that his father was tortured literally to change his statement in favor of Tytler.
1984 में जो उस समय की प्रधानमंत्री इंदिरा गांधी के कत्ल के बाद जो जेनोसाइड दिल्ली में हुआ, जिसको लीड कर रहे थे सज्जन कुमार जैसे और जगदीश टाइटलर जैसे, आज उनके जख्म जिनके लोग परिवार के मार दिए गए थे, कत्ल कर दिए गए थे, शहीद कर दिए गए थे, उनके कहीं ना कहीं जख्मों पे जो मलम लगाने का काम कोर्ट ने किया है। हम धन्यवाद करते हैं कोर्ट का कि जिस तरीके से उन्होंने इंसाफ किया है, फैसला किया है।
40 साल से हम प्रयास कर रहे थे, पहले सज्जन कुमार जेल गया, थोड़ी से आज एक उम्मीद की किरण जागी थी, जगदीश टाइटलर पर चार्ज पेश हुआ, उससे बहुत ही राहत मिली है कि ये बहुत जल्द, जिस तरह सज्जन कुमार जेलों के सलाखों के पीछे है, इसी तरह ये जगदीश टाइटलर भी बहुत जल्द सलाखों के पीछे होगा। ये 1984 का सिख कत्लेआम जो है, ये कोई छोटी बात नहीं है। लेकिन जी उम्मीद तो है, अभी जैसे आज चार्जशीट पेश हुई है, इसके ऊपर धाराएं भी लगी हैं इतनी, तो 13 सितंबर को बहुत बड़ी उम्मीद है कि वाकई इसके ऊपर कुछ ना कुछ जज साहब इस पर कुछ करेंगे।
देश के प्रधानमंत्री का, देश के गृह मंत्री का, इस सरकार का धन्यवाद करता हूं, जिन्होंने सारा री इन्वेस्टिगेट कराया केस, और आज कोर्ट ने माना कि जगदीश टाइटलर के खिलाफ सफिशिएंट एविडेंस है, सफिशिएंट प्रूफ है, और उनके खिलाफ मर्डर का केस चलाया जाना चाहिए, और उसके लिए अब उनको कोर्ट में 13 सितंबर को सम्मन कर लिया गया है। मुझे यकीन है सज्जन कुमार की तरह जगदीश टाइटलर भी जेल में सड़ेंगे, और सिखों को जो इन्होंने कत्लेआम किया था, उन पीड़ितों को इंसाफ मिलेगा।
Could you just tell me about today's final framing of charges?
Well, today the matter was, the case was listed for passing of the order on charge. The court had extensively heard the arguments on charge on behalf of complainant, on behalf of the accused, as well as the CBI, the prosecuting agency. And today the court has pronounced this order on charge that I find sufficient evidence. Ample evidence is the word used, is ample evidence on the basis of which the charges have to be framed, and for which Jagdish Tytler has to face the trial. And for formal framing of the charges, the court has fixed the date for 13th of September 2024 for him to come and sign whether he is... Yes, though it has not been framed yet. It will be framed on 13th. But however, the court has given this order that we will be proceeding under these charges. That is 143, 147, 153A, 188, 295, 302. 302 read with 109. 109 is the betment for murder. So these are the charges.
Shifting focus now to Maharashtra, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi today apologized in the state over the collapse of the Shivaji statue in Sindhudurg. The Prime Minister also slipped in a swipe at the opposition for insulting and abusing the son of the land, Veer Savarkar. Remember, the opposition has been targeting the Maharashtra government over the last few days over the collapse of the 35-foot Shivaji statue.
मेरे सभी साथियों के लिए
छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ये सिर्फ नाम नहीं है। हमारे लिए छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ये सिर्फ राजा महाराजा राजपुरुष मात्र नहीं है। हमारे लिए छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज आराध्य देव है। और मैं आज सर झुका करके मेरे आराध्य देव छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की उनके चरणों में मस्तक रख के माफी मांगता हूं। हमारे संस्कार अलग है। हम वो लोग नहीं हैं जो आए दिन भारत मां के महान सपूत इसी धरती के लाल वीर सावरकर को अनाप शनाप गालियां देते रहते हैं, अपमानित करते रहते हैं, देशभक्तों की भावनाओं को कुचलते हैं। उसके बावजूद भी वीर सावरकर को गालियां देने के बावजूद भी माफी मांगने को जो तैयार नहीं है, अदालतों में जाकर के लड़ाई लड़ने को तैयार है, इतने बड़े महान सपूत का अपमान करके जिनको पश्चाताप नहीं होता है, महाराष्ट्र की जनता उनके संस्कार को अब जान ले। और ये हमारे संस्कार है कि इस धरती पर आते ही आज मैंने पहला काम मेरे आराध्य देव छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज में उनके चरणों में सर झुका करके क्षमा मांगने का कर रहा हूं।
Statement coming from Prime Minister Modi, profuse apology from his side. Of course, this amid the political slugfest that we are seeing over Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj statue collapse in Sindhudurg. Prime Minister Modi, they're saying that he's an ardent devotee of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. In fact, Shivaji is not just a name, but his idol. So therefore, he bows down before his idol and seeks his apology. This is the statement that he made, a big statement. In fact, in Maharashtra itself, he was on a one-day visit to Maharashtra, which is when he made this statement just about half an hour back. So yes, a big reaction coming in. We know that it's election year in Maharashtra, and this entire issue, this collapse, this crash of this particular statue has become a politically serious as well as emotive issue, especially for the opposition. They are leaving no stone unturned in attacking the government over this. They have been saying that it is due to alleged negligence and corruption on the part of state government, which led to the collapse of a revered warrior's statue. Uddhav Thackeray hitting, Aditya Thackeray hitting, many within the Congress party, within the NCP, hitting at the state government over this. State government, of course, in a damage control mode, taking multiple measures, saying they're forming committees, one to probe the incident, another to look into re-erection of a bigger statue on the same spot, making arrest. A structural consultant has been arrested today, and of course they're on the lookout for the contractor who was responsible for the design and building of this particular statue. State government has washed its hands off as far as taking the blame and responsibility is concerned. Eknath Shinde had also apologized, but they continue to maintain that the construction was the responsibility of the Indian Navy, which is why multiple committees have been formed. Navy is also looking into the matter and probing the entire collapse incident.
Shifting focus now to Kolkata, and BJP versus Bengal government face-off continues in the state over the rape and murder case. Today, BJP women's delegation marched up to the Women's Commission office in Kolkata to protest over the horrific case. Take a look at this report.
कोलकाता में मेडिकल छात्रा की हत्या और रेप के विरोध में लगातार विरोध प्रदर्शन जारी है और आज बीजेपी के महिला मोर्चा ने प्रोटेस्ट करने का आह्वान किया था। उसको देखते हुए आप देखें कि किस तरह से पुलिस जो प्रोटेस्टर्स हैं उनको ढूंढ रही है, खोज रही है। इस वक्त मैं हूँ करुणामयी मेट्रो स्टेशन के अंदर और यहाँ पर आप देखें कि पुलिस मेट्रो स्टेशन के अंदर तक घुस आई है और यहाँ पर जो भी महिला मोर्चा के प्रोटेस्टर या दूसरे जो लोग जो विरोध करने आए हैं उनको किस तरह से खोज कर पकड़ा जा रहा है। इस वक्त मैं हूँ करुणामयी मेट्रो स्टेशन के अंदर और यहाँ पर जो कोलकाता पुलिस है वो तमाम जगहों से जो प्रोटेस्टर्स हैं उनको खोज कर पकड़ रही है। ये देखिए, उसको तुरंत पुलिस यहाँ पर डिटेन कर लेती है। बड़ी संख्या में जो महिला पुलिसकर्मी हैं वो यहाँ पर तैनात हैं और कहीं भी कोई मिलता है उसको तुरंत डिटेन किया जा रहा है। कुछ महिलाओं को यहाँ से मेट्रो स्टेशन से डिटेन किया गया है और यहाँ पर पुलिस ने सड़क पर और मेट्रो स्टेशन पर जो प्रोटेस्टर्स थे उनको खोजा है और खोज के उनको यहाँ पर डिटेन किया जा रहा है। ये देखिए कि कुछ महिलाओं को मेट्रो ट्रेन के अंदर से निकालकर डिटेन कर लिया गया है और उनको पुलिस अपने साथ में लेकर जा रही है। ये देखिए कि पूरा जो काफिला है कोलकाता पुलिस का वो यहाँ पर है और बीजेपी के कार्यकर्ता यही आरोप लगाते हैं कि उनको कहीं भी ममता सरकार प्रोटेस्ट करने की परमिशन नहीं देती है, इसीलिए उनको हाईकोर्ट जाना पड़ता है और हाईकोर्ट जाने के बाद जब उनको परमिशन मिलती है तब वो प्रोटेस्ट कर पाते हैं। ये देखिए कि कुछ महिलाओं को डिटेन कर लिया है और ये मेट्रो के बाहर ले जा रही है। कोलकाता से कैमरा पर्सन जीडी शंकर के साथ मैं मुकेश सिंह सेंगर, NDTV।
Right. Meanwhile, Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has shot off a second letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressing concern over the lack of response to her earlier appeal for stronger legislation on crimes against women in the wake of the trainee doctor's rape and murder. In her latest letter, Mamata Banerjee accused the central government of not taking her concerns seriously. In fact, she also called this a very sensitive matter in which the centre is not responding. Meanwhile, Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh targeted Bengal government, saying there are few states which are still not being serious about women's safety. The post by the Defence Minister there on your screens right now.
इससे ज्यादा शर्मनाक बयान एक मुख्यमंत्री को और नहीं हो सकता। एक मुख्यमंत्री जो अपना राज्य नहीं संभाल पा रही हैं। और देखिए, मैं कोई दोषारोपण नहीं करना चाहता, ये घटना इस तरीके की महिलाओं के साथ अगर किसी भी राज्य में होती है तो वो उतनी ही शर्मनाक है, उतनी ही चिंताजनक है। बल्कि मैं तो आग्रह करूंगा केंद्र सरकार से कि वहां की वास्तु स्थिति का संज्ञान लेते हुए राज्य में राष्ट्रपति शासन, बंगाल राज्य में राष्ट्रपति शासन।
And a new cabinet secretary has in fact taken charge. IAS officer TV Somnathan has taken charge as the cabinet secretary. Somnathan is a 1987 batch Tamil Nadu cadre IAS officer, and India has got a new officer in the top bureaucratic position. Meanwhile, the Me Too storm continues in Kerala, and today it was the women Congress workers who held a protest at the Secretariat in Thiruvananthapuram. This at a time when the SIT has got more complaints and more cases are in fact being filed against top Malayalam actors. And all this, of course, coming in the aftermath of the explosive details which have been revealed by the Hema Committee report. A case has been filed against actor Jayasuriya. The complainant had alleged sexual assault by the actor. And a woman actor, remember, had accused actors Mukesh and Jayasuriya of sexual misconduct. They were also, that is a separate case which had been filed earlier by the Kerala SIT. Meanwhile, the CPI has called for MLA Mukesh's resignation. CPI State Secretary Binoy Vishwam had met the Chief Minister after the decision was taken at the CPI Executive Committee meeting. In fact, CPM national leader Brinda Karat has also expressed disappointment over the party's state leadership's decision, which has in fact delayed the resignation decision against MLA Mukesh. And the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar delivered a firm message on India's stance toward Pakistan, declaring that the era of uninterrupted dialogue is over. Jaishankar said that actions have consequences, alluding to Pakistan-sponsored terrorism, and reaffirmed New Delhi's position that terror and talks can't go together.
Let me say this. I think the era of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan is over. Actions have consequences. And insofar as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, I think 370 is done. What I do want to say is we are not passive, and whether events take a positive or a negative direction, either way we will react to it.
So I'm joined here by Mr. Ambassador Rajiv Sikri, and his new book, Strategic Conundrums Reshaping Foreign Policy, was launched today by S. Jaishankar, the Foreign Minister of India. So thanks for and best wishes for your new book. First of all, I wanted to ask you about that. Dr. Jaishankar was kind of reviewing your book, picking up on the points about it. Why do you call the neighborhood as conundrums?
Oh, I think that there are no easy choices in our neighborhood. And I've said that all our neighbors, which emerged as our neighbors only after the partition of India and India became independent. Before independence, we had Persia as a neighbor, we had Myanmar as a neighbor, we had Tibet as a neighbor. Now we've got new neighbors, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives. All these were part of a larger thing. So there is an identity crisis, I think, in these countries where they cannot get away from their relationship with India, their historical, cultural and other roots, and at the same time their desire, understandable, to forge their new identity as nation states. So this creates a little problem there, and it expresses itself often as anti-Indianism, because anything which goes wrong, India is to blame. Now, how do we tackle it? That is a conundrum. And it's not easy, but I've suggested some aspects what we can do.
So you have been a career diplomat, and I was going through your CV and saw you have served in almost every region. I will just like to draw your attention towards the conflict in West Asia right now, and I'll just put it here. So, going by your experience, do you think that India is in any position to kind of strike or kind of drive any peace policy anyway?
No. I don't think we should aim for that. The only people who can do it are the Americans. They have influence over Israel. I don't think that India has any ability to influence the conflict.
So Dr. Sikri says that an unstable neighborhood is not beneficial for any country, because once your neighborhood is unstable, or if there is a crisis developing there, then your energy, your focus all gets deviated, and it also puts constraint on our resources. In Delhi with camera person Janara and Mohammad Ghazali for NDTV.
And it's been a big day for India at the Paris Paralympics. India has in fact notched up 4 medals, including a gold by shooting star Avni Lakhera. In fact, shooters Avni Lakhera and Mona Agarwal both in fact bagged medals, with Avni Lakhera of course winning a gold and Mona Agarwal winning a bronze respectively for the Indian women's shooting team. And meanwhile, sprinter Preeti Pal secured India's 3rd medal, clinching a bronze in the women's 100-meter T35 final. And also shooter Manish Narwal is into the finals. In fact, he has also won silver in shooting. And my colleague Vimal Mohan caught up with Mona Agarwal after her big win. Listen in.
शूटिंग से जैसे हमें पहले ही दिन उम्मीद कर रहे थे और बार-बार एनडीटीवी अपने दर्शकों को बता रहा था, और मोना ने और अवनी ने निराश नहीं किया। मोना तो 3 महीने पहले 4 महीने पहले हमारी बातचीत हुई थी और हमने भी भरोसा जताया था दर्शकों को।
जी बिल्कुल, हमारी बातचीत हुई थी जब मैंने पैरालंपिक के लिए कोटा जीता था और आपने उस समय भी मुझे कवर किया था और बहुत अप्रिशिएट किया था, लोगों तक मेरी स्टोरी पहुंचाई थी और अभी आप वापस से ऑन द स्पॉट हमारे साथ अवेलेबल हैं और हमारी स्टोरी कवर कर रहे हैं। थैंक यू सो मच।
एक तो ये दर्शक को दिखाइए, सबसे पहली बात है मोना की कई सारी कहानियां। मोना 36 साल की हैं, जो औरतें ये सोचती हैं कि उनके पास वो अब केवल हाउसवाइफ बन सकती है, उनके लिए बहुत बड़ी प्रेरणा है। 2 बच्चे हैं, अरवी और अविक, 2 बच्चे हैं, घर को संभालती है, सेक्रेटेरिएट में काम करती हैं। इनका जो ये है व्हील चेयर, सरकार ने बहुत सारी मदद की, लेकिन ये पुराना व्हील चेयर, पुराने गन्स 3 साल पहले शुरू की। बहुत सारी कहानियां हैं मोना की और ये अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी प्रेरणा है पूरे सबके लिए। मोना,
मुझे ये पता था कि मेरी मेहनत जो है वो सफल होगी और मेरे पास जितने साधन उपलब्ध थे मैं उनसे अपना बेस्ट परफॉर्म कर पाऊंगी, तो और मैं वो कर सकी, उसके लिए मैं बहुत खुश हूँ।
और आपने वर्ल्ड कप में अवनी जैसी प्लेयर को बीट किया, जो गोल्ड मेडल जीत चुकी है टोक्यो में, इसके बावजूद आपने उनको बीट किया, ये भी बहुत बड़ी बात थी। शायद उसका हौसला यहाँ तक बना रहा।
सर ये गेम ऐसा है कि आपको सिर्फ खुद को और अपने अंदर के डर को बीट करना है, इसमें आप किसी और को बीट नहीं कर सकते। अवनी चैंपियन है और हम दोनों ने एक साथ कंट्री के लिए एक पोडियम शेयर किया है, ये हमारे देश के लिए बहुत बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट है।
एक हाई प्रेशर और हाई प्रेशर मैच तो था ही, हाई स्कोरिंग मैच था। इसमें क्या करती हैं, जैसे आप बता रही थी, ब्रीदिंग बहुत करना पड़ता है अपने प्रेशर को कंट्रोल
जो भी हमारी बेसिक टेक्निक है, हमें चाहे हम पर कितना भी प्रेशर हो या माहौल कैसा भी हो, हमें वो अपनी बेसिक टेक्निक को बस पकड़ के रखना है। अगर आपने उस माहौल में खुद को थोड़ा सा भी घबराहट के साथ उस टेक्निक को छोड़ दिया तो यू विल फॉल।
और आपके कोच की बहुत तारीफ करनी पड़ेगी, जीवन जी की, लगातार आपके टेक्निक को मारते रहे।
बिल्कुल, जीवन सर हमारे साथ कंटिन्यू यहाँ कैंप में अवेलेबल थे और मेरे जो बेसिक कोच हैं योगेश सर, उनका मैं थैंक यू कहूँगी कि उन्होंने मुझे यहाँ तक पहुँचाने के लिए बहुत बहुत एफर्ट किए हैं।
And with that, it's a wrap from my side. Keep watching NDTV.
Get the magic of the best working for you now.
Link your payment cards once, collect rewards forever.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
This week on India Ascends. Pole-bound Sri Lanka and volatile Bangladesh witnessing India versus China power play. Will the trouble in Balochistan topple the cozy China-Pakistan relationship? Is the pro-China Muizzu government in Maldives in trouble? The French flip-flop over the next Prime Minister continues. All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gauri Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual.
One day this lecture hall will be made of coal, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Landslide.
You're watching India Ascends. I'm Gauri Dwivedi. Let's get the headlines this Friday evening. First up, India, Maldives, Sri Lanka hold NSA level talks in Colombo security conclave as China and India flex muscles in pole-bound Sri Lanka as both dock warships in Colombo on the same day. India-China power play intensifying in Bangladesh as well. Strong message coming in from External Affairs Minister to Pakistan that New Delhi will engage with Islamabad as per its own strategic interests.
Let me say this. I think the era of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan is over. Actions have...
Mohammad Yunus's interim government fails to give any timeline for holding elections in Bangladesh, lifts the Hasina era ban on radical Jamaat-e-Islami, frees radical elements like Jashimuddin Rahmani, imposes travel ban on 14 ministers of the Hasina government. The case count on former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina crosses 100. 4 months after his party won a brute majority in Parliament, Maldivian President Mohamed Muizzu claims the opposition is destabilizing his government. Maldivian economy grappling with an alarming drop in foreign reserves. Will the pro-China Maldivian president use this as an excuse to seek more Chinese funds? And the French flip-flop over the next Prime Minister continues as President Macron rejects the 6th Prime Ministerial candidate in the last 7 weeks since the results through a hung parliament. The big story on India Ascends. India is now playing the power game with China in its neighborhoods. It's upping the ante in vital strategic locations like Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, whether it's geopolitics, geoeconomics, as well as military positioning and posturing. Both Colombo and Dhaka are important countries that have swung in favor of China in the past, lured by the large and limitless Chinese checks and driven by political dispensations that became anti-India. Now, both these nations are in the midst of a political and economic flux. They sit on vital sea links and trade routes and are located in India's backyard, its traditional area of influence, where China is trying to gain a larger footprint. These are also countries that have witnessed regime changes in the last few years due to people's movements, adding to the uncertainty that they are both susceptible to, requiring New Delhi to play the power competition game that it's now playing with Beijing. Sri Lanka will hold its first election since its last president, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, was driven out. The posturing by New Delhi to dock its warship with China, along with China, is testimony to its commitment to not let Beijing make another inroad for another port like Hambantota, a key asset that's now owned by Chinese companies and sits on important sea links. India does not need to project power in distant shores, but on crucial sea links that impact its trade and strategic interests, New Delhi is now flexing its muscles. Take a look at Bangladesh now, which needs India to fund the transition to normalcy for its economic stability and long-term growth. The Bangladesh economy has been ravaged by an economic slump as well as dwindling trade due to the turmoil has now added to the inflation and economic woes. India needs to fund some of the $8 billion that Bangladesh needs, whether it's in the form of concessional loans or infra financing. That remains to be seen. But in a post-Hasina Bangladesh, India needs to deepen its leverage and play the great power game. Muhammad Yunus has also released radical elements like Jashimuddin Rahmani, and New Delhi has to ensure that Bangladesh does not go the way of Pakistan, where its dysfunctional politics, along with a broken economy and growing influence of radical elements, has led to that unending cycle of violence, all of which targets India, which is why it's crucial for New Delhi to keep up the ante. Shifting focus now to the first wide-angle story on the show, the deadly attack in Pakistan's Balochistan region, where Punjabis were attacked and targeted, has a very strong message for China. It raises questions about the longevity of the China-Pakistan equation as well as the CPEC. Now, Pakistan and China are not natural partners. They've come together because they want to create security challenges for India. They mutually hate India. But this convenient relationship, has it run its course? Continued terror attacks in Balochistan has cast doubts about the future of CPEC, or the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, integral to Xi Jinping's Belt and Road Initiative. And it's now its most uncertain part. CPEC has not alleviated the genuine concerns of the Balochis, who feel that the projects are exclusionary, they're exploitative, and they're centralized in their planning and pretty much help the Punjabis at the expense of Balochis. And this is the reason why Baloch insurgents target Punjabis again and again. The Gwadar port, which is the Chinese-managed deep-water port in Balochistan, is now a constant source of tension between Pakistan and China and is at the receiving end of multiple attacks. China has dialed back because of that on its future investments in Pakistan. CPEC 2.0 is off the table. No new projects are being green-singled by Beijing anymore. Even the PM-level trips by Pakistan is not making China change its mind. And will these fresh attacks ensure that China dials back further? Or will it just now cut back its losses and exit Balochistan? The numbers seem to suggest that. China has invested $25 billion against the much-hyped figure of $62 billion 7 years back when the CPEC was in its full steam. Recently, the Chinese envoy to Pakistan also said that China is there to help Pakistan, but it will do only so much. He quoted Mao Zedong, saying that success requires you to stand on your feet, indicating that Pakistan's inability to protect Chinese nationals and Chinese assets makes any more support untenable. China's goal is not to set up security posts and wait for the next attack. Instead, it will now just cut back, impacting Pakistan and its finances, vindicating India, which has stayed away from BRI all along. Shifting focus now to the second wide-angle story, where it's about Maldives, where it's just been 4 months since the Maldivian president, Mohamed Muizzu's party, won a supermajority in parliament. The party seems to now be coming to an end for Mohamed Muizzu. Despite having an unprecedented executive power and a huge parliamentary backing to reshape Maldives' policies, Mohamed Muizzu has claimed that his government could be toppled and it could be a financial coup that could be happening in Maldives. Muizzu has steered Malé away from India towards China and in the process green-signaled a plethora of financially unviable projects, leaving the small nation's finances in complete tatters. Add to it the financial impact of Indians now rejecting Maldives as a big tourist destination, impacting the foreign exchange reserves that the country has. Take a look at this report that tells you just how those finances of Maldives government have unraveled in the last 15 days.
Behind these breathtaking white beaches lie the ugly truth about the Maldivian economy. And the precarious state of government finances under President Mohamed Muizzu. On 21st of August, Maldives ran out of usable dollar reserves. An alarming situation that meant the small island country could not pay for any international purchases, like an outstanding $25 million crude oil payment. This led to the regulator Maldives Monetary Authority writing to the finance minister. To arrest the flight of dollars from the economy, on 25th of August, the Bank of Maldives blocked dollar transactions on rupiah cards and slashed the limit of the previously issued cards to just $100. Shockingly, within hours these measures were reversed at the instruction of the regulator and possibly at the behest of the president. This flip-flop over an unprecedented crisis shows the inability to address a possible insolvency of the Maldivian government, even as President Moizu claimed BML's measures were taken to instigate political unrest and overthrow his popular government. The financial situation in Maldives remains dire, with a run on the currency and a sovereign downgrade remaining as a real possibility. Compounding Moizu's troubles is the fact that he needs to come up with funds to repay the large Chinese loans. So why is this important to India? Well, Maldives sits where 50% of India's external trade and 80% of its energy imports pass through those shipping lines. So a bankrupt or a financially unstable Maldives will allow Mohammad Moizu to give further leeway to China, both by offering strategic national assets like ports and also with a direct military presence, possibly a big base like Djibouti. India will not just have to be vigilant, but will also have to respond to a potential economic crisis. Despite Moizu's India out campaign, India cannot stay out of Mali. In fact, talking more about Maldives, we have with us the first top voice on the show. We have Ahmed Adib, who is the former Vice President of Maldives, joining me on the broadcast. Sir, thank you so much for taking out the time. Speaking to NDTV, my question to you, sir, how do you read the statements that were made by Mohammad Moizu when he said that a financial coup is what he thinks opposition is up to?
First of all, thank you for having me. I've been on NDTV even in January, just a few months after President Moizu has taken oath.
Okay.
At that time, it was there was a movement called India Out, and that's where, even at that time, I mentioned that Maldives needs India, and there will be a time there will be a financial crisis because the number showed that the successive governments has taken a lot of deficit finance, which President Moizu has inherited. And also he inherited a campaign called India Out. But after the parliament elections, as I predicted, everything became, the relations between Maldives and India has improved. Ex-Minister of External Affairs has just visited Maldives. So as I concluded, even at that time, Maldives needed India, and it was India was being very lenient even in last April, and also in this September. There are bonds like $50 million bonds, which has been now delayed and given the leniency by India to Maldives. So I would like to say, first of all, if India didn't given the leniency, this would have happened more earlier, but it was Prime Minister Modi's gracefulness, and as well as India has been always there for Maldives, as I have been repeatedly saying that. So what we see today is the successive deficit financing of Maldives. Maldives tourism sector is doing very well. We have built world's luxury resort tourist destination. I've been part of it, but I would say that living beyond our means with a big welfare programs that is not sustainable.
Okay.
This is the result what we see today.
But
But is there a financial coup that's taking place in Maldives?
I believe that I wouldn't comment on the coup because there's a political side of it. But I would say there is a problem. There is a problem. There is a crisis, which I wouldn't blame President Muiz because he's just been 7 months into the presidency. It's something he inherited. So it's time to recognize there's a problem, there's an issue out of it. So if there's any crisis, there is opposition. Everyone will try to work against each other. But I would say we should recognize the need. We should recognize the Fitch ratings, the advice of the economists. I would say we should work more together with India, come up with a solution, recognize it, so that it's time for the stability. There's no future by using this as a political tool, even by the opposition, because this is something that is going to affect every single Maldivian. So I believe there's a crisis, then a coup.
Okay, it's a crisis and not a coup. Thanks so much for speaking to NDTV on what is happening in Maldives. And on that note, we slip into a quick break. We come back on the other side with lots more. Stay with us.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate, let's rebuild Wayanad.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate, let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have
Welcome back. You're watching India Ascends with me, Gauri Dwivedi. It's time for the second top voice on the show, Harshpati Singhania, who's the first vice chair of the International Chamber of Commerce. I spoke with Mr. Singhania on the role of India in steering global businesses at a time when US election is adding to uncertainties, and what would be India's role in leading developing countries towards sustainable economic solutions. Listen in.
On the one hand, you are seeing a situation where we are finding global trade or a globalized environment as we had envisaged earlier to be becoming increasingly difficult. But you are also seeing an increase in regional cooperation, because at the end of the day, business has to grow, business and trade. And we have seen that trade, global trade, has brought millions of people out of poverty, particularly in developing countries. So global trade is beneficial for all. The challenge is how are we going to achieve it? And this is a challenge for business as well as for government and policymakers. So that is really a scenario which we put in front of us. And I think ICC, the International Chamber of Commerce, Paris, one of his main jobs is to facilitate global trade. So we work on areas of how we can get trade finance. How do we bring in supply chains? How do we include SMEs, which are really the ones which generate large number of jobs? How do we include them in the entire supply chain, in the entire equation? And today you have other factors as well. And maybe I'm jumping ahead of what you might have thought in terms of this, but today issues like climate change, issues like digitalization, all of them are mixed up in this.
Absolutely. And before we get to some of those, speaking on trade, there is an election happening in the US, and Donald Trump, it looks like a race that could go down to the wire. And if Donald Trump does come as the next president of US, how do you think it would impact trade ties, and in terms of the whole tariff equation? And how do you see ICC being and the role it may play in terms of ensuring that these trade tensions do not overtake a bilateral relationship?
See, this will be challenging. Let's not kid ourselves. But at the same time, I think every country realizes the benefits they can get from lower cost sourcing. So while countries want to, rightly so, look at their own domestic issues and domestic job creation, etc., they also have consumers and the same people who benefit from more efficient production that could happen somewhere else. And hence the issue of trade across borders. Now, ICC works very closely with the WTO, and ICC has special groups with the WTO where we try and see solutions that will be in the interest of different nations.
I understand that it may not just be a bilateral relationship that ICC would focus on, but the fact that US may come out with more trade tariffs is not a problem that will be unique to India if Donald Trump comes to power. So how does that become then a bigger challenge, not just for India, but for some of the other countries as well, developing countries? And how do you envisage any such mechanisms to be in place to ensure that they are tackled and don't become a larger geopolitical issue?
See, ICC will use its position and efforts to advocate with different policymakers and governments. So while I mentioned the WTO being a larger sort of multilateral organization, but bilaterally also with governments and policymakers or with trade blocs, ICC works with them to talk to them as to what would be a sort of a reasonable level of tariffs which balances local issues along with benefits that come from global trade.
You mentioned climate, you mentioned sustainability as a key area. How do you see that shaping business discussions going forward? How do you see organizations and associations like ICC sort of shaping a larger conversation around climate change going forward?
It's a very important question. Today, it's not about just moving goods across from one country to another. It's about how sustainably they have been produced
and how are they going to be accepted by a customer? Because today customers are making choices. ICC tries to bring in, we have a climate action change policy. We are working with various groups. ICC is a part of all the COP discussions.
Yes.
And so ICC tries to put together policies or advocates for policies which are going to be fair and progressive and what we would call a just transition of energy.
Inside Story segment of the show where we talk about the French politics. It's been 7 weeks that the French did not get any coalition majority. But that cannot be a reason for President Macron to not appoint a prime minister. Take a look at this report to know how the entire French political system is now in limbo only because Macron keeps rejecting candidate after candidate. Take a look.
7 weeks and 6 prime ministerial candidates later, France remains in a logjam. An unprecedented political deadlock that has ensured Europe's second largest economy remains without an administrative head since 7th of July when the elections to appoint the prime minister were held. The latest candidate to be rejected by Macron is left-wing New Popular Front candidate Lucie Castet. The little-known civil servant joins what is now turning out to be a long list of unsuccessful candidates. Before Castet, Macron had rejected Olivier Faure and Marine Tondelier of leftist NFP, Gérald Darmanin and François Bayrou of the centre-right Ensemble, and Xavier Bertrand from the right-wing Les Républicains. All because he wants a prime minister who will only follow his agenda. But that's a problem, because of the fractured French mandate which has not given any party a majority, allowing Macron to continue the political crisis. Leftist leaders blame President Macron for his personal role in the political turmoil, with some even calling for him to be impeached. Macron has angered his opponents by delaying political talks for the duration of the Paris Olympic Games, calling it an Olympic truce. Macron's delay in appointing the prime minister is because there is no rule requiring the president to confirm a candidate from the party that won the most seats, nor a specific timeline for the decision. Both liberals and right-wing factions have vowed to block an NFP-led government. Macron has insisted that any prime minister candidate must enjoy cross-party support, raising questions about the purpose of elections in the first place. With only a few weeks remaining before the 2025 draft budget is due to be read in Parliament, France is threatened by an unprecedented political situation. And as things stand, the president is showing no urgency to address it.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Sense with me, Gauri Dwivedi. Thanks so much for watching.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. 10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgent.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Osama Shah. It has been a great start for Team India at the Paris Paralympics 2024. 4 medals so far, including a historic gold by Avni Lakhera. We'll get you all of those details. But first, let's take a look at the headlines. A big day for Team India at the Paris Paralympics. India wins 4 medals, including a gold for shooter Avni Lakhera. Big apology from the Prime Minister in Maharashtra over the Shivaji statue collapse. Ahead of the crucial assembly elections, Prime Minister also taunts the opposition over insults to Savarkar. Trouble for Congress leader Jagdish Titler as the court orders to frame charges against him in the Pulbangash violence case. CBI had invoked rioting and murder sections against him in the 1984 Sikh riots case. Political street fight continues in Kolkata. BJP workers marched to Women's Commission office in the city. This even as the centre and Bengal Chief Minister trade charges in the aftermath of the horrific Kolkata rape and murder case. A muted growth for Indian economy as Q1 GDP registers its lowest in 5 quarters at 6.7%, a strongest growth in manufacturing and construction. Well, the medal rush has started for Team India at the Paris Paralympics 2024. India has won 4 medals, including a gold at the games right now. Avni Lakhera, she has won the gold in shooting, while Mona Agarwal, Preeti Pal, they have won bronze. And Manish Narwal, he has won a silver in 10-meter air pistol. Avni Lakhera, who is also known as the Golden Girl of Indian shooting, she has repeated what she had done at Tokyo. She has won a gold medal yet again in the women's 10-meter air rifle standing category with a score of 249.7, which is also a Paralympic record. In fact, Mona Agarwal, she has also won a bronze in women's 10-meter air rifle standing final with a score of 228.7, registering India's first medal for at the Games at the Paralympics 2024. In fact, Preeti Pal, she won a bronze medal for India. This is India's first in a track events in Paralympics history. Preeti Pal, she finished with a time of 14.21 to grab a bronze medal. This is in women's 100-meter T35 finals. And she has, like I mentioned, she has become the first Paralympian medalist for India in a track event in the history of these games. This time of 14.21 is also her personal best. In fact, India's 4th medal came in shooting as well. Manish Narwal He won a silver in men's 10-meter air pistol SH1 event. Manish Narwal, he has at the Paris Paralympics game on Friday, he in fact finished with a score of 234.9. In fact, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he also congratulated these athletes. He posted on his social media handle X saying that India opens its medal account in the Paralympics 2024. He congratulated Avni Lakhera for winning the gold medal. And he also mentioned that Avni has created history as she is the first Indian woman athlete to win 3 Paralympics medals. And her dedication continues to make India proud indeed. Avni Lakhera's win, it is an inspiration for everyone, every single Indian there.
शूटिंग से जैसे हमें पहले ही दिन उम्मीद कर रहे थे और बार बार एनडीटीवी अपने दर्शकों को बता रहा था, और मोना ने और अवनी ने निराश नहीं किया। मोना तो 3 महीने पहले 4 महीने पहले हमारी बातचीत हुई थी और हमने भी भरोसा जताया था दर्शकों को।
जी बिल्कुल, हमारी बातचीत हुई थी जब मैंने पैरालंपिक के लिए कोटा जीता था, और आपने उस समय भी मुझे कवर किया था और बहुत अप्रिशिएट किया था, लोगों तक मेरी स्टोरी पहुंचाई थी। और अभी आप वापस से ऑन द स्पॉट हमारे साथ अवेलेबल हैं और हमारी स्टोरी कवर कर रहे हैं। थैंक यू सो मच।
एक तो ये दर्शक को दिखाइए। सबसे पहली बात है, मोना की कई सारी कहानियां हैं। मोना 36 साल की हैं। जो औरतें ये सोचती हैं कि उनके पास वो अब केवल हाउसवाइफ बन सकती है, उनके लिए बहुत बड़ी प्रेरणा है। 2 बच्चे हैं, अरवी और अविक 2 बच्चे हैं, घर को संभालती हैं, सेक्रेटेरिएट में काम करती हैं। इनका जो ये है व्हील चेयर, सरकार ने बहुत सारी मदद की, लेकिन ये पुराना व्हील चेयर, पुराने गन्स 3 साल पहले शुरू की। बहुत सारी कहानियां हैं मोना की, और ये अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी प्रेरणा है पूरे सबके लिए। मोना,
मुझे ये पता था कि मेरी मेहनत जो है वो सफल होगी, और मेरे पास जितने साधन उपलब्ध थे मैं उनसे अपना बेस्ट परफॉर्म कर पाऊंगी, तो और मैं वो कर सकी, उसके लिए मैं बहुत खुश हूँ।
और आपने वर्ल्ड कप में अवनी जैसी प्लेयर को बीट किया, जो गोल्ड मेडल जीत चुकी है टोक्यो में, इसके बावजूद आपने उनको बीट किया, ये भी बहुत बड़ी बात थी। शायद उसका हौसला यहाँ तक बना रहा।
सर, ये गेम ऐसा है कि आपको सिर्फ खुद को और अपने अंदर के डर को बीट करना है। इसमें आप किसी और को बीट नहीं कर सकते। अवनी चैंपियन है और हम दोनों ने एक साथ कंट्री के लिए एक पोडियम शेयर किया है। ये हमारे देश के लिए बहुत बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट है।
एक हाई प्रेशर और हाई प्रेशर मैच तो था ही, हाई स्कोरिंग मैच था। इसमें क्या करती हैं, जैसे आप बता रही थी, ब्रीदिंग बहुत करना पड़ता है अपने प्रेशर को कंट्रोल
जो भी हमारी बेसिक टेक्निक है, हमें चाहे हम पर कितना भी प्रेशर हो या माहौल कैसा भी हो, हमें वो अपनी बेसिक टेक्निक को बस पकड़ के रखना है। अगर आपने उस माहौल में खुद को थोड़ा सा भी घबराहट के साथ उस टेक्निक को छोड़ दिया तो यू विल फॉल।
और आपके कोच की बहुत तारीफ करनी पड़ेगी, जीवन जी की, लगातार आपके टेक्निक को मारते रहे।
बिल्कुल, जीवन सर हमारे साथ कंटिन्यू यहाँ कैंप में अवेलेबल थे, और मेरे जो बेसिक कोच हैं योगेश सर, उनका मैं थैंक यू कहूँगी कि उन्होंने मुझे यहाँ तक पहुँचाने के लिए बहुत बहुत एफर्ट किए हैं।
Well, India also hopes to better its tally from the last time around with the hope of winning 25 medals this time. My colleague Vimal Mohan, he also spoke to the World Championships and Asiad gold medalist in shot put, Yasir Mohammed. Let's listen into that conversation.
एक तो सबसे पहले आपकी कहानी से शुरू करते हैं। ये एक्सीडेंट आपका घास काटने वाली मशीन से हुआ था?
हाँ जी सर, बचपन में हो गया था। जो घास काटती है मशीन, पट्टे को उतरने वाली मशीन होती है ना, उसमें आ गया था बचपन में।
और वहाँ से फिर आपने, जैसे आप बता रहे थे, नेशनल्स में आए, वो हमें बताएं, क्योंकि आपको पता नहीं था इस गेम के बारे में। एक अवेयरनेस जो है, ये एक बहुत बड़ा टास्क है जिसके बारे में एनडीटीवी कोशिश करता रहता है। हम कई अपने कॉरपोरेट्स के साथ, है ना, अंडे हैं, उनके साथ हम कोशिश करते रहते हैं।
सर, ये स्टोरी ऐसी है कि मेरे कॉलेज में एथलेटिक मीट चल रही थी, और ऐसे ही मैंने उसमें पार्टिसिपेट किया, और मैंने एबल बॉडी में थ्रो किया, और फर्स्ट टाइम मेरा मेडल आया था थ्रो में, शॉट पुट में। और वहाँ पे ही मेरे कोच ने मुझे देखा था फर्स्ट टाइम, और उन्होंने मुझे बताया था कि ऐसे पैरालंपिक गेम्स होती हैं, अगर आप करना चाहो तो मैं आपको ट्रेनिंग करा सकता हूँ।
और ये आपका पहला ओलंपिक्स है?
जी हाँ जी, मेरा पहला है। जी जी।
या सर, आपके गांव पे फ़र्क पड़ा मलेरकोटला में आपके बाहर आने से?
जी सर, बहुत सारे प्लेयर हैं जो मुझे खुद को मैसेज करते हैं कि हमने सर गेम करनी है, जब मुझे बताओ कैसे अप्लाई होता है, या कैसे नेशनल गेम्स होती हैं। बहुत ज़्यादा फ़र्क पड़ा है।
And yet another athlete, Nishad Kumar, the high jumper from Himachal Pradesh, also the silver medalist at the Tokyo Paralympics. Remember, he has also competed in able-bodied games. He spoke to NDTV where he said that he feels very good to compete in an able-body competition and that it is like a dream to compete in these Paralympics.
हमारे साथ निशाद हैं और मैं बैठकर इनका इंटरव्यू इसलिए कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि मुझसे लगभग 1 फीट ज़्यादा लंबे हैं, 6'4" निशाद, आपने ढेर सारा मेडल जीता है, सिल्वर, ब्रॉन्ज, वर्ल्ड चैम्पियनशिप में। सबसे बड़ी बात है आपने एबल बॉडी का जो प्रतियोगिता हुई 2022 में, उसमें आपने मेडल उसमें 5th पोजीशन आना या एबल बॉडी में मेडल जीतना, उनके साथ कम्पीट करना, आप तो एक थ्रेट रहते होंगे उनके लिए।
जी धन्यवाद पहले आपसे जुड़ने के लिए, और बहुत अच्छा लगता है जब हम ट्रेनिंग करते हैं और मौका मिलता है हमारे को एबल बॉडी में कम्पीट करने का और हम उस लेवल पर खुद को देखते हैं। और ये मतलब एक ड्रीम में होता है कि एबल बॉडी में हम कम्पीट कर रहे हैं और एक पैरा एथलीट होने के नाते, और हम इसका मतलब हम अच्छी ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं और पैरा एबल बॉडी में हम ऑल इंडिया में 5th फिनिश कर रहे हैं।
एक एथलेटिक्स से हमें काफ़ी सारे पदक भी मिले हैं पहले भी, और बहुत ज़्यादा उम्मीद भी है। हाई जंपर्स जितने जंपर्स हैं, थ्रोअर्स हैं, उन सबसे बड़ी उम्मीद है। ये अचानक क्या चेंज आया, क्या सर्ज आया जिसकी वजह से पैरा एथलीट्स इंडिया के अच्छा कर रहे हैं?
मुझे लगता है मैच्योर हो गया एथलीट्स ज़्यादा ही, और ट्रेनिंग अच्छी हो रही है, अच्छी फैसिलिटीज़ मिल रही है उनको, और ट्रेनिंग में काफ़ी चेंजेस हुए हैं। और जैसे मैं पिछले तीन साल से यूएस में ट्रेनिंग कर रहा हूँ और अभी पिछले 1 महीने से जर्मनी में था, तो काफ़ी कुछ चेंज हुआ है। और जैसे अभी टीम एडवांस में भेजी है तो वो क्लाइमेट सेट होने के लिए, जेट लैग ठीक हो जाए खिलाड़ियों का, अच्छा परफॉर्म करे वो, तो इसलिए ये सब चीज़ें मैटर करती हैं।
What exceptional stories there, and what a great start for Team India at the Paralympics. Moving on, India's GDP growth rate has moderated. What has led to the 5-quarter decline, and what's the way forward for India's economy? My colleague Sakshi Bajaj, she brings us this report.
Growth really muted for the first quarter, lowest in 5 quarters, coming in at 6.7%. Now compare this to the same period last year. Same period last year we saw 8.2% growth. In the last quarter we saw a growth rate of 7.8%. So what really has contributed to this muted growth? Well, economists believe, as per the data released, we see agriculture really at the weakest. We see strongest growth in manufacturing and construction. Now agriculture growth as well as government expenditure, economists and analysts alike saying that, look, that really is the reason why we've seen this massive decline and a 5-quarter low in the data released. Now, how can we really fix this? Economists and analysts telling NDTV that, look, for an economy that wants to, look at being the top 3 among global economies, is also looking at a fast-paced momentum, we must fix this. So, land and labor reforms are crucial for the agriculture sector, they believe, must be implemented as soon as possible. Of course, they also feel that going forward, while we have seen construction and infra spend, quality infrastructure spend is really the need of the hour. So these really are the quick fixes that economists and analysts are suggesting for India's economy. Muted growth, while some say that, look, this data is disappointing, others believe it is in line with expectations.
Well, a Delhi court has ordered framing of charges against Congress leader Jagdish Daikler in a case related to the killing of Thakur Singh, Badal Singh and Gurcharan Singh outside the Pulbangash Gurudwara in Delhi during the anti-Sikh riots of 1984. The CBI, in a charge sheet filed in May last year, had accused Daikler, who's also a former union minister, of inciting, instigating and provoking the mob that had assembled near the Gurudwara.
After hearing our argument, the court framed the charge against him for the murder of 3 Sikhs and burning of the Gurudwara. Now, the case will go against him, and we are quite hopeful that he will also be in jail. Like Sajjan Kumar is in jail since last 6 years now, and we are quite hopeful that he will also be in jail soon. Gyani Surinder Singh was the main witness in this case. Unfortunately, he passed away. And he also told the court, he also told the CBI that how he was pressurized to give the wrong statements. Then his son, who is in Canada, he also gave the statements to the CBI that his father was tortured literally to change his statement in favor of Daikler.
1984 में जो उस समय की प्रधानमंत्री इंदिरा गांधी के कत्ल के बाद जो जेनोसाइड दिल्ली में हुआ, जिसको लीड कर रहे थे सज्जन कुमार जैसे और जगदीश टाइटलर जैसे, आज उनके जख्म जिनके लोग परिवार के मार दिए गए थे, कत्ल कर दिए गए थे, शहीद कर दिए गए थे, उनके कहीं ना कहीं जख्मों पे जो मलहम लगाने का काम कोर्ट ने किया है। हम धन्यवाद करते हैं कोर्ट का कि जिस तरीके से उन्होंने इंसाफ किया है, फैसला किया है।
40 साल से हम प्रयास कर रहे थे, पहले सज्जन कुमार जेल गया, थोड़ी से आज एक उम्मीद की किरण जागी थी, जगदीश टाइटलर पर चार्ज पेश हुआ, उससे बहुत ही राहत मिली है कि ये बहुत जल्द, जिस तरह सज्जन कुमार जेलों के सलाखों के पीछे हैं, इसी तरह ये जगदीश टाइटलर भी बहुत जल्द सलाखों के पीछे होगा। ये 1984 का सिख कत्लेआम जो है, ये कोई छोटी बात नहीं है। देखो जी, उम्मीद तो है हमें, जैसे आज चार्जशीट पेश हुई है, इसके ऊपर धाराएं लगी हैं इतनी, तो 13 सितंबर को बहुत बड़ी उम्मीद है कि वाकई इसके ऊपर कुछ ना कुछ जज साहब इस पर कुछ करेंगे।
मैं देश के प्रधानमंत्री का, देश के गृह मंत्री का, इस सरकार का धन्यवाद करता हूं, जिन्होंने सारा री इन्वेस्टिगेट कराया केस, और आज कोर्ट ने माना कि जगदीश टाइटलर के खिलाफ सफिशिएंट एविडेंस है, सफिशिएंट प्रूफ हैं, और उनके खिलाफ मर्डर का केस चलाया जाना चाहिए, और उसके लिए अब उनको कोर्ट में 13 सितंबर को सम्मन कर लिया गया है। मुझे यकीन है सज्जन कुमार की तरह जगदीश टाइटलर भी जेल में सड़ेंगे, और सिखों को जो इन्होंने कत्लेआम किया था, उन पीड़ितों को इंसाफ मिलेगा।
Could you just tell me about today's final framing of charges?
Well, today the matter was, the case was listed for passing of the order on charge. The court had extensively heard the arguments on charge on behalf of complainant, on behalf of the accused, as well as the CBI, the prosecuting agency. And today the court has pronounced this order on charge that I find sufficient evidence, ample evidence is the word used, is ample evidence, on the basis of which the charges have to be framed, and for which Jagdish Tytler has to face the trial. And for formal framing of the charges, the court has fixed the date for 13th of September 2024 for him to come and sign whether he is. Yes, though it has not been framed yet, it will be framed on 13th. But however, the court has given this order that we will be proceeding under these charges. That is 143, 147, 153A, 188, 295, 437, 302. 302 read with 109. 109 is the abatement for murder. So these are the charges.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi today apologized in Maharashtra over the collapse of the Shivaji statue in Sindhugarh. The Prime Minister also slipped in a swipe at the opposition for insulting and abusing the son of the land, Veer Savarkar. Remember, the opposition has been targeting the Maharashtra government over the collapse of the 35-foot Shivaji statue in Sindhugarh.
मेरे सभी साथियों के लिए छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ये सिर्फ नाम नहीं है, हमारे लिए छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ये सिर्फ राजा महाराजा राजपुरुष मात्र नहीं है, हमारे लिए छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज आराध्य देव है। और मैं आज सर झुका करके मेरे आराध्य देव छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की उनके चरणों में मस्तक रख के माफी मांगता हूं। हमारे संस्कार अलग है, हम वो लोग नहीं हैं जो आए दिन भारत मां के महान सपूत इसी धरती के लाल वीर सावरकर को अनाप शनाप गालियां देते रहते हैं, अपमानित करते रहते हैं, देशभक्तों की भावनाओं को कुचलते हैं, उसके बावजूद भी वीर सावरकर को गालियां देने के बावजूद भी माफी मांगने को जो तैयार नहीं है, अदालतों में जाकर के लड़ाई लड़ने को तैयार है, इतने बड़े महान सपूत का अपमान करके जिनको पश्चाताप नहीं होता है, महाराष्ट्र की जनता उनके संस्कार को अब जान ले। और ये हमारे संस्कार है कि इस धरती पर आते ही आज मैंने पहला काम मेरे आराध्य देव छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज में उनके चरणों में सर झुका करके क्षमा मांगने का कर रहा हूं।
But the Bharatiya Janata Party versus the West Bengal government face-off continues in the state over the Kolkata rape and murder case. In fact, today, the BJP women's delegation, it marched up to the Women's Commission office in Kolkata to protest over this horrific case.
कोलकाता में मेडिकल छात्रा की हत्या और रेप के विरोध में लगातार विरोध प्रदर्शन जारी है और आज बीजेपी के महिला मोर्चा ने प्रोटेस्ट करने का आह्वान किया था। उसको देखते हुए आप देखें कि किस तरह से पुलिस जो प्रोटेस्टर्स हैं उनको ढूंढ रही है, खोज रही है। इस वक्त मैं हूँ करुणामयी मेट्रो स्टेशन के अंदर और यहाँ पर आप देखें कि पुलिस मेट्रो स्टेशन के अंदर तक घुस आई है और यहाँ पर जो भी महिला मोर्चा के प्रोटेस्टर या दूसरे जो लोग जो विरोध करने आए हैं उनको किस तरह से खोज कर पकड़ा जा रहा है। इस वक्त मैं हूँ करुणामयी मेट्रो स्टेशन के अंदर और यहाँ पर जो कोलकाता पुलिस है वो तमाम जगहों से जो प्रोटेस्टर्स हैं उनको खोज कर पकड़ रही है। ये देखिए, उसको तुरंत पुलिस यहाँ पर डिटेन कर लेती है। बड़ी संख्या में जो महिला पुलिसकर्मी हैं वो यहाँ पर तैनात हैं और कहीं भी कोई मिलता है उसको तुरंत डिटेन किया जा रहा है। कुछ महिलाओं को यहाँ से मेट्रो स्टेशन से डिटेन किया गया है और यहाँ पर पुलिस ने सड़क पर और मेट्रो स्टेशन पर जो प्रोटेस्टर्स थे उनको खोजा है और खोज के उनको यहाँ पर डिटेन किया जा रहा है। ये देखिए कि कुछ महिलाओं को मेट्रो ट्रेन के अंदर से निकालकर डिटेन कर लिया गया है और उनको पुलिस अपने साथ में लेकर जा रही है। ये देखिए कि पूरा जो काफिला है कोलकाता पुलिस का वो यहाँ पर है और बीजेपी के कार्यकर्ता यही आरोप लगाते हैं कि उनको कहीं भी ममता सरकार प्रोटेस्ट करने की परमिशन नहीं देती है, इसीलिए उनको हाईकोर्ट जाना पड़ता है और हाईकोर्ट जाने के बाद जब उनको परमिशन मिलती है तब वो प्रोटेस्ट कर पाते हैं। ये देखिए कि कुछ महिलाओं को डिटेन कर लिया है और ये मेट्रो के बाहर ले जा रही है। कोलकाता से कैमरा पर्सन जीडी शंकर के साथ मैं मुकेश सिंह सेंगर, NDTV।
In the meanwhile, the Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, she has written a second letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressing concern over the lack of response to her earlier appeal for stronger legislation on crimes against women in the wake of a trainee doctor's rape and murder in Kolkata. In a latest letter, Mamata Banerjee, she has accused the central government of not taking her concerns seriously. She said, she wrote, and I quote, "No reply was received from your end on such a sensitive issue," unquote, she wrote. Meanwhile, Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, he has targeted the West Bengal government, saying very few states are not serious about women's safety.
इससे ज्यादा शर्मनाक बयान एक मुख्यमंत्री को और नहीं हो सकता। एक मुख्यमंत्री जो अपना राज्य नहीं संभाल पा रही हैं। और देखिए, मैं कोई दोषारोपण नहीं करना चाहता, ये घटना इस तरीके की महिलाओं के साथ अगर किसी भी राज्य में होती है तो वो उतनी ही शर्मनाक है, उतनी ही चिंताजनक है। बल्कि मैं तो आग्रह करूंगा केंद्र सरकार से कि वहां की वास्तु स्थिति का संज्ञान लेते हुए राज्य में राष्ट्रपति शासन बंगाल राज्य में राष्ट्रपति शासन
The External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, he delivered a firm message on India's stance towards Pakistan, declaring that the era of uninterrupted dialogue is over. Jaishankar said that actions have consequences, alluding to Pakistan's sponsored terrorism and reaffirming New Delhi's position that terror and talks, they can't go together. He said the era of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan is over. Actions have consequences. He was saying this at a book launch event in Delhi on Friday.
Let me say this. I think the era of uninterrupted dialogue with Pakistan is over. Actions have consequences. And insofar as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, I think 370 is done. What I do want to say is we are not passive, and whether events take a positive or a negative direction, either way we will react to it.
So I'm joined here by Mr. Ambassador Rajiv Sikri, and his new book, Strategic Conundrums Reshaping Foreign Policy, was launched today by S. Jaishankar, the Foreign Minister of India. Sir, thanks for and best wishes for your new book. First of all, I wanted to ask you about that. Dr. Jaishankar was kind of reviewing your book, picking up on the points about it. Why do you call the neighborhood as conundrums?
Oh, I think that there are no easy choices in our neighborhood. And I've said that all our neighbors, which emerged as our neighbors only after the partition of India and India became independent. Before independence, we had Persia as a neighbor, we had Myanmar as a neighbor, we had Tibet as a neighbor. Now we've got new neighbors, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives. All these were part of a larger thing. So there is an identity crisis, I think, in these countries where they cannot get away from their relationship with India, their historical, cultural and other roots, and at the same time their desire, understandable, to forge their new identity as nation states. So this creates a little problem there, and it expresses itself often as anti-Indianism, because anything which goes wrong, India is to blame. Now how do we tackle it? That is a conundrum, and it's not easy, but I've suggested some aspects what we can do.
So you have been a career diplomat, and I was going through your CV and saw you have served in almost every region. I will just like to draw your attention towards the conflict in West Asia right now, and I'll just put it here. So going by your experience, do you think that India is in any position to kind of strike or kind of drive any peace policy anywhere?
No. I don't think we should aim for that. The only people who can do it are the Americans. They have influence over Israel. I don't think that India has any ability to influence the conflict.
So Dr. Sikri says that an unstable neighborhood is not beneficial for any country, because once your neighborhood is unstable, or if there is a crisis developing there, then your energy, your focus all gets deviated, and it also puts constraint on our resources. In Delhi with camera person Janara and Mohammad Ghazali for NDTV.
Well, that's all we have for you. On the other side of the break, Manisha Natarajan gets us the urban agenda.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala. Landslide
diesel. Well, that myth has been busted in the latest findings by International Council of Clean Transport or ICCT. Now, CNG vehicles in Delhi and Gurugram emit nitrogen oxides, which are noxious, at levels of 1.5 to 14 times higher than the Bharat stage of BS6 standard vehicles. This is not only a challenge to the notion that CNG is a cleaner fuel, it also tells us there is absolutely no way forward to deal with the rising vehicle pollution across Indian cities than to accelerate the mass adoption of zero-emission electric vehicles or EVs. Welcome everyone, I'm Manisha Natarajan. On the Urban Agenda, we ask a very simple question. What is preventing you and me from switching to an EV two-wheeler or an electric car? How can we accelerate the adoption of clean mobility and stem the rising vehicle pollution which is causing us our health and life? The government is making yet another push and bringing in the Electric Mobility Promotion Scheme, in short known as EMPS 2024. Yet, so many of us are not sure at all on whether we should switch, what are the problem areas, and are we making a smart decision by switching? So let's get the answers from Amit Bhatt, Managing Director of the International Council on Clean Transportation India, and Rajita Ravi, co-founder of Oxa Energy. She's a young founder of an electric bike called Mantis. So we have the manufacturing side, we have the think tank policy makers. So let's get some opinions. My first question, Amit, is to you. The findings are actually, something we had been thinking about, is CNG that clean? And now it says, no, it isn't. And 1.4 to 15 times higher than BS6 is quite a revelation.
Absolutely. But we have to remember about 25 years back when CNG came in the conversation. That time, our fight was largely against particulate matter. So the black smoke that you will see will coming out from the vehicle. Now, CNG has helped us reduce considerably particulate matter emission. But as technology has evolved, as vehicles have become more sophisticated, we are seeing there are other criteria pollutants that are coming into picture. And the findings are shocking. One, we have seen there's a massive improvement of shifting from BS4 to BS6. Yet, many cases, BS6 vehicles also have very high limit in real world as compared to lab values. And the main culprit is the commercial vehicle, both for passenger and goods vehicles category.
So commercial vehicles are emitting the most, and under lab condition, BS6 also looks actually much better option than CNG. But on real roads, it isn't working out to so. So clearly, Ranjita, we have to move to electric mobility, isn't it? And the government has come out with EMPS 2024, which has replaced FAME Phase 2 subsidies from April 1st, 2024. Now, this marks their commitment to promoting electric vehicles. But on ground, as manufacturer, as a user of EV for several years, how do you think we can make it a mass movement? I don't see it happening. I mean, yes, we are talking about two-wheeler numbers moving very quickly, but not fast enough.
Yes, I think that's a very valid point. I mean, when we started Orha Energies back in 2015, we were just at few hundred units. I think even back in 2021, we were probably talking about a couple of hundred units a month. And now we are at 1 lakh a month. But let's put that into perspective, right? All vehicles that were sold, electric in India last year was about 16, 17 lakh units. But we do easily so many more total number of vehicles. Just all EVs since 2016, say, it's just been 39, 40 lakhs that we've sold ever in India. But just two-wheelers, we've sold more than 12 crores in the same period. So there's a way to go. There's a long way to go. But I think at this point of time in the industry, we would say EVs have reached a certain inflection point.
Okay, so you're saying there's been a big shift, 1.0 to 3.0, but there are actually huge on-ground challenges, Amit Bhatt, isn't it? So I'm going to highlight the case of Mr. Kaul, one of the early adopters of EV, and I think, Amit, you have met him and also heard him out. He kind of reached out to me. He owns an EV car, lives in Noida at one of the ATS projects. The RWA there is refusing to give permission or a NOC to EV owners to install individual EV charging points. And the community chargers are simply not enough. They're slow chargers. Cars come there, then they don't move out. The owners don't move them out. These are actually huge number of on-ground realities. Take me through your own studies on what is preventing consumers like me from switching. And trust me, I've been wanting to do that. And there's a whole host of my friends who are thinking EV, but they have questions after questions on their mind. Amit.
Absolutely. So there are a couple of big challenges to EV adoption. One is the upfront cost. The other big segment of challenge is the charging infrastructure. And when we typically talk about charging infrastructure, everybody talks about public charging infrastructure, now, which is important. But studies from US and other places have shown that in personal vehicle category, about 80-85% charging happens at home or at workplace. Now, this is where the problem gets magnified many folds. I am an EV user myself for the last more than 2 years, and I've been struggling. I live in Gurgaon, Sector 58 Grand Arch. I've been struggling with my RWA for 2 years plus to allow me to set up charging in my parking locations where I am willing to take care all of the cost of the setting up the charging infrastructure, but the RWA is just not allowing it. So what do you need? I just need something called a 16 ampere plug to start with. I need to plug my vehicle. Now, sometimes the community chargers, when they came up, they were serving the purpose when the vehicle ownerships were few. But now many societies have very large EV ownership, and it's a big struggle. So how do you resolve it, right? And I think the learning for us is from learning from Norway, which is the EV capital of the world. About 87% of the new vehicles sold are electric. And they have something called a right to charge. So if you are an EV user, if you want to set up charging, the RWA equivalent, the distribution company, the municipal corporation, no one can deny you. So you have a right to charge. And if you have a parking space, the authorities will give you. The big problem right now is that since it becomes very inconvenient to find and coordinate in the community charging, I know a lot of people who want to buy electric car are not buying because they don't want to get into the hassle. I firmly believe if we are able to resolve this charging in parking location, we will see a much larger uptake of electric vehicles in the personal vehicle category.
Rajita, 3.3 kilowatt is the charger which individual homes need to actually charge even an electric car, lower if you want to charge a Mantis probably. Why is it such a big issue? I mean, do we need a better policy? Because again, the new policy talks about the fact that yes, we need to improve the charging infrastructure, but I'm not so sure whether we've got through the state governments a clear indication to RWAs, to societies, that this has to become a priority. Is that the biggest missing link here?
I think there's a lot of misinformation as well. I think building bylaws did come by some time back, which said that 20% of the parking has to be dedicated to EV parking. But, you know, all that has to be ratified at every state level, at every society, municipal level, etc. So I think even at the urban local body level, there's a lot of information, education, communication that's still pending. The misinformation has not helped. Petrol vehicles catch fire every day. Yesterday, someone in my network had a car that they were test driving, and that caught fire. A second-hand vehicle, premium second-hand vehicle. It was not in the news, but if you had an EV that would catch fire, it would be on the front pages, right? The misinformation or the sensationalism of the new technology doesn't help either, which I think leads to a lot of reticence at the RWA's level. In individual houses, so for example, I have been charging my EV, but I'm privileged enough to have an individual house that I stay at. We use a normal 16 amp, what Amit was just mentioning, a 3.3 kilowatt 16 amp line, which would be the same that is there for your house heater or your house mixie or your house microwave. It's the same. It's just that you need to take care of the grounding properly, the earthing that needs to happen for this charging, right? And a lot of EV manufacturers that put up charging in your house. So for example, my car manufacturer, EV car manufacturer, puts up a charger in the house that you can use. And that the electrician that comes to install that charger took special steps to ensure that the earthing and the grounding was done properly for that. And there was a multiple checkpoints that he had to make sure that this earthing was proper. Similarly, I think any time that you set up charging or any of these community charging that they set up or public charging, one of the important steps that they do is the grounding. That's very important to ensure that the EV charging happens safely and properly.
Amit, what's your answer to two things? One, that the EV batteries are expensive, don't last long. I think early experiences with earlier models of EVs, some people have had issues. They don't run fast enough on the road. They don't accelerate fast. So these are other issues which do keep coming to people's mind.
Absolutely. But we also have to understand that technology has improved hugely in the last couple of years. Now we have vehicles which are giving 400, 450 kilometers, and I'm talking about cars in a single charge. We have seen a lot of charging infrastructure coming up on highway. We have seen even better quality of vehicles. We have so many choices right now, which is not there earlier. And again, I've been using my car for the last two electric car for 2+ years, done over 50,000 kilometers. I have never run out of charge on one single time, and I have traveled distances 1,000, 1,500 kilometers at a go. So I think a lot of it is misconception, myth, which people have. But once you come onto the system and you start using your electric vehicle, you will see it's not that difficult. Yes, it does require a little bit of planning because of the charging infrastructure development on the highways, but that will only improve with the passage of time.
Stay with us, both of you. I'm going to come back and also understand a little bit more in terms of how do we get this misinformation around EVs, EV adoption out of the way, how do we educate RWAs, and how do we also ensure that there are enough models and choices for people to buy, whether it's two-wheelers, motorcycles or electric cars. Are we manufacturing enough? Another question. Stay with us.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shazia Ilmi. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and story.